3.
Days like this really make you appreciate what we do for a living.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really does not get much better than a weather day like this. See the shadow of Fisher behind him as he deals a 3-0 to Ward, and it's a 4-pitch walk to begin his day. Not something that you see a ton from Braden Fisher, who's struck out about 3 times as many batters as he's walked this year. Ward down to first. Balls and strikes today handled by Edwin Moscoso, Hunter Wendelstedt, the crew chief at first, Dexter Kelly at second, and Nick Lentz at third base. Up to the plate now, Gunnar Henderson. Wind is blowing in as the pitch comes in. And there's the first strike of the day from Fisher on the outside corner to get ahead 0-1 with a slider.
That's all it takes. You find the release point. Now you can go from there and you try to get out of this little jam that you're in.
Infield shift toward the right side of the diamond. Pitch to the left-handed hitting Henderson is hit foul, and now Fisher's ahead 0-2. This first inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Blue Jays in their powder blues, navy cap. Orioles in their road grays. Runner on first, nobody out. And time asked for right before Fisher was starting to go. He actually leg kicked and stopped and turned away in frustration. I wouldn't say it's as egregious as the one where Mako was literally mid-windup yesterday, but that was a little close.
Yeah, but Fisher was not happy.
Big right-hander set again, first base side of the rubber. The 0-2 is hit on a line toward right and down in front of Lucas, a base hit. Ward had to wait to see if it would drop. He'll advance to second. A big blasting line drive there for Henderson off the bat at 107 for a single. It's first and second, nobody out.
That curveball from Fisher caught a little bit too much of the plate. You could see Gunnar Henderson really waiting back. He recognized that pitch out of the hand. There was a little bit of a hump to that curveball, and he drilled it into right field. A big base hit for the Orioles, especially with Adley Rutschman coming to the plate.
Rutschman yesterday was the player of the game. Went 4 for 4, a homer, 2 doubles, a single and a walk. He scored 4 times, and he drove in 5. The pitch. Called down and in, ball 1. A miss there with a curveball. Braden Fisher has thrown 3 1/3 scoreless in his previous 3 opens, but he's in trouble here in the first inning. First and second and nobody out. Ward on second, Henderson on first. 1-0 pitch is hit on the ground to the right side. Clement picks it up. No one at first. Now Fisher over to cover, and the throw there in time for the out. Runners advance. Ward to third, and on to second goes Henderson. Really good heads-up play by Fisher. Vladdy went for the ground ball when it was kind of at Ernie Clement, and if Fisher's not tracking his way over there, it would have been bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Blue Jays and Braden Fisher, that ball was hit really slowly, and you could see Ernie Clement actually look to second base and then quickly look back to first base, took the sure out.
Corners in now, middle back, second and third, 1 out, and the pitch bounces into Pete Alonso, ball 1. First base is open if you want to pitch around Alonso. The all-time leader in home runs in New York Mets history in his first year now with the Baltimore Orioles. One-0 pitch. In there for a strike. That didn't look like pitching around with that slider. Landed on the inside third. It's 1-1. Blue Jays do have Spencer Miles up in their pen in left field. Starting to toss as he'll deal with the bulk of the innings today. Step off throw to second, and a bang-bang play. The call is safe at the bag. Dive back in by the back runner Henderson. Tag applied by Clement. See if the Blue Jays want to take a look. Fisher is as good with the pickoff move as any Blue Jay pitcher on the staff.
Yeah, it didn't look like Ernie Clement thought they got him at second base, and sure enough, John Schneider's not going to take a look at that. But like you mentioned, he has really, really quick feet and an accurate arm.
At least he'll make Henderson think twice as he takes his lead. Ward in front of him on third, and the 1-1 is swung on and missed. Got the slider by him to get ahead 1-2.
Yeah, you keep him closer to second base. Maybe he's not going to score on a ground ball through the hole.
Alonso asking for time. He readjusts his batting glove on his right hand and taps home plate twice. Runners on second and third, no score, 1 out, top of the first inning. Fisher's 1-2. Downstairs, little twitch, but no swing from Henderson. 2 balls, 2 strikes, or from Alonso, pardon me. "13 pitches so far for Braden Fisher. Began with a 4-pitch walk. He's been mostly in the zone since. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Elevated the heater at 95. Big strikeout as the corners can back up. There are 2 down.
Yeah, perfectly executed. And now you can be pretty careful to Kobe Mayo. Just because you have that open base at first base, you have 2 outs now. But what a pitch from Braden Fisher. Just elevates that fastball. Really, really nice location.
It's only the top of the first, but this could be a really pivotal part in the game. Orioles had first and second, no outs. Now it's second and third, 2 down. Still no score. And the pitch to Mayo is grounded back foul, 0-1.
Now you're ahead in the count. You can expand with that curveball, with the slider, even elevate another fastball if you want to. See if you can get Kobe Mayo to swing over the top of one.
Mayo went 1 for 5 yesterday, but the one was a huge 2-run homer. 0-1 pitch. High fastball. Mayo lays off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fisher flips the ball out of his glove into his bare right hand. 16 pitches for the righty reliever who's starting today as the opener. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Mayo leaned back and looked for it all on that slider. 1-2.
Got a little bit too much of the play. Don't want to throw another one of those sliders over the heart like that. If you're going to throw another one, make sure that thing is below the strike zone.
You could see Mayo kind of dip in the back shoulder to look for loft there.
I bet that thing looked like a beach ball.
And that's what he does. He's not trying to lead the league in hits this year. Mayo is looking to hit the ball out of the yard. Runner on third, Ward. Runner on second, Henderson. 2 outs, top of the first inning, no score. 1-2 pitch to Mayo. He got him, struck him out on his slider, and Fisher creates a little traffic and then gets rid of it. No runs on a hit and a walk, 2 left for the Orioles. No score, middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Looking to kick back in your backyard? At Home Hardware, we've got a wide range of decking and stain, grass seed and mulch, mowers, and everything you need to create your backyard oasis. Yeah, but the silence. Find everything you need for your next project and earn and redeem Scene Plus points at over 1,000 Home Hardware and Building Center locations. All locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
There's nothing worse than waiting in long lines around the ballpark. That's why Bet365 has 5-run early payout. When the team you're riding goes up 5 runs at any point in the game, they'll pay your bet out right then and there, win or lose. No waiting required. Now you can go back for another hot dog. Bet365. Download the app and see what early payouts all about. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Marshall smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Braden Fisher wiggles his way out of a jam, and we go scoreless into the bottom of the first inning. Blue Jays and Orioles on a beautiful day at Rogers Center. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Kyle Bradish gets the start for the Orioles. He deals home now to George Springer, leading off for the Blue Jays. First pitch called to strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Springer, Lucas Guerrero against the 29-year-old from Arizona, 6'3" righty Kyle Bradish, 3.5 ERA in 12 starts. 0-1 pitch. Down and away with a breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sinker, slider, curve, four-seamer for Bradish. The stuff is good, but the execution is really good for Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, good sinker-slider combo. The tunneling is exceptional, so that means that every pitch looks the exact same out of the hand.
1-1. Grounded foul, 1-2. It's his 5th season with the Orioles. Looking for a healthy season after he broke out to be 4th in Cy Young Award voting in 2023, but a lot of injuries, especially in his elbow, led to Tommy John. His 1-2 to Springer. Check swing, pitch down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But he looks to be all the way back. He went 7 innings, no earned runs against the Blue Jays in the Sunday finale of the series in Baltimore.
Yeah, the walk rate is still a little bit high, so if you're the Blue Jays, might want to be a little bit patient standing in that batter's box.
2-2 to Springer. Rolled over foul, keeps himself alive, skipping one past Carlos Febus.
He's walked 33 guys this season in 65 1/3 innings pitched, so that's relatively elevated.
Yeah, that's more walks than you want. Springer, meanwhile, 214 hitters, 653 OPS, 10 doubles and 5 home runs. Right on right. The 2-2 pitch is inside, buzzes by his jersey. Kind of stomach high, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
97 miles an hour. That can't feel good if you're George Springer. Almost got him in the belt.
For Bradish, that's a little bit up. He sits around 95 on that sinker and around 94 on the 4-seamer, which he throws less. His 7th pitch to George Springer to begin his day. And it's low ball 4. That is the kind of plate appearance you want to start it off with if you're the Blue Jays. 7 pitches to get a leadoff walk.
Yeah, beautiful plate appearance. Was really, really patient. I said during the at-bat that the Blue Jays might want to be on the patient side because of the erratic nature of Kyle Bradish. Yes, he has good stuff, but every once in a while he'll lose the zone like he did right there to George Springer.
Springer on first gets a word from his first base coach, Mark Budzinski, and now Nathan Lucas up. Third baseman Mayo plays in. The pitch, high and outside with a fastball, 1-0. Lucas lost his career-best hit streak yesterday in an 0-for-4 day. Taps the plate once, spins the bat around twice, and he's looking out at Kyle Bradish. Bradish peeks at first base over his left shoulder in the pitch. Rounded back up the middle. This could be 2. Henderson Glove steps on second 1. Toss across to first with plenty of time for a 6-3 double play, and there are 2 down.
Kyle Bradish gets a lot of those. There's not many guys in the big leagues with a sinker like Kyle Bradish. 94, 95, good sink. And when you get yourself into problems or into trouble as a sinker baller, it's really easy to get a double play and get yourself out of those tough situations, and Bradish did that right there.
Wipes away the leadoff walk and keeps the pitch count low. Only 9 pitches now. 2 outs, base is empty. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The pitch. Low ball 1. We welcome you to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Strong builds start in the dugout with the right game plan and the right materials. From framing lumber to finishing supplies, your local Timber Mart helps you build with confidence from the ground up. That's a home run build at Timber Mart, Canada's building center. The 1-0 pitch. Check swing. Peel over to first. He did go, says Hunter Wendelstedt, the crew chief, on appeal. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer. Andrew Adams and Tom Young are technical directors. The 1-1 to Guerrero. Went around reluctantly on a slider that darted down and away. Swinging strike makes it 1-2.
It's really tough. Looked exactly like a fastball out of the hand and then just darted left. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a little awkward half swing. And that's what makes him so tough. The sinker-slider combo is so difficult. You don't see it all that often, especially at the velocity that Bradish has.
Looked like Vlad was sitting sinker out in front of those 2 breaking balls, trying to hold up his swing. Now in a 2-strike count, the pitch is another breaking ball, this one down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Guerrero's batting .296, high 700, 771 OPS. 11 doubles, 3 home runs. Drove in his 25th run of the season with a sac fly last night. The 2-2. Tapped in front of the plate. This will be a play on the third baseline for Bradish. He barehands, throws to first in time. Just got Vladdy to end the inning. Leadoff walk for the Blue Jays, but Bradish faces the minimum. No runs, no hits. None left. No score after an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, Brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet radio.
Here's the thing. Want to be the grandparents who bolted to the burbs, or the cool relatives still living in NYC? The city that people come to be at the center of everything. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy has the tools, agents, and guidance to make you a forever New Yorker, too. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow, Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing: smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's Byrna, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision.
The second inning is brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. We welcome you back to Rogers Center. No score, Blue Jays and Orioles as we begin the top of the second. The Blue Jays have made a pitching change. It's brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Spencer Miles, the bulk man, has taken over now. Blonde-haired righty into the game to face Leody Taveras. Switch hitting center fielder, bats left, and the first pitch is in there for a strike, 0-1. For Miles, his 17th outing of the year. In 36 and a third innings, a 3.5 ERA. Season stats hurt a little bit by his last outing against Baltimore. 0-1. High and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. He got a traditional start against the Orioles on the 31st. Did not go great. Walked 3, 6 earned runs, 5 hits in 3 innings. 1-1. Swing and a liner, foul right side. Towards Club 328, but off the netting in front of it, 1-2.
Yeah, his command was a little bit spotty in his last start, and that's something that's been great ever since he made the team out of spring training. The command has been really good. That sinking fastball has been effective on the inside part to left-handed hitters, and it just wasn't there in his last start.
1-2. Called strike 3. Taveras frozen by a sinker at 97. Some cascading shadows over the field might have helped. By the way, Miles' first strikeout is brought to you by Subway. Every Blue Jays game day, Subway MVP Rewards members get 25% off any footlong order in the Subway app and use code STRIKEOUT. Terms and conditions apply.
Right on cue. How about that sinking fastball in the inside part to a lefty?
That was a beautiful pitch from Miles. Another right-on-left matchup with Cowser. First pitch just high and outside, ball 1.
97 miles an hour, so the velocity has ticked back up. It was a little bit down in his last start, maybe by about a mile an hour, so that's a good thing.
1-0 pitch. Called strike 1-1. I know we've said it many times, but you really can't say enough. He's pitched more than double the innings already this year that he pitched in his entire professional career from 2022 to 2025. 1-1 pitch. Fouled back 1-2. And so some ebbs and flows. I mean, it's all going to be part of the process.
Yeah, so I will say this. If he was still in the Giants system, let's say hypothetically he was in AA or even AAA. He made the jump to AAA. They would be babying him right now.
A ton. He pitched once every
Exactly,
8
especially
days.
with the stuff that he has. So
And the stress of those pitches,
Yeah.
pardon me, way
Yeah.
lower too. Sorry to cut you off. 1-2 pitch is tap back foul.
So when you think about it that way, when you look at that perspective, it's absolutely incredible. A little bit outlandish what he's done for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Pulls on the brim of his cap, steps back on at the first base side of the rubber, facing right fielder Colton Cowser, a lefty hitter. 1-2. In the dirt with a breaking ball. That outlier curveball is spiked. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cowser, 26 years old, a 6'3" Houston native in his 4th season. He was actually the Rookie of the Year runner-up in 2024. 2-2 pitch. Tried for that front hip sinker, missed inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes, but not a bad pitch at 97.
Speaking of Rookie of the Year, Spencer Miles, all right? He's not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Munetaka Murakami.
But he's got to be in the top 10, right?
I could see that,
yeah.
Sure. I could see that. I'll help your case in a moment.
All right.
3-2 pitch. Is hit high in the air, deep right center field, back to the wall, and way gone. Off the Rogers side at the WestJet flight deck. A big home run for Colton Cowser. And the Orioles strike first. It's 1-0 in the top of the second.
That sinking fastball was a little bit elevated, caught a lot of the plate. Colton Cowser crushed that thing 427 feet out to right center. That's a beautiful swing. He actually stood in the batter's box and watched that fly ball for a split second. Got himself into a good count, a good fastball count. And, yeah, Spencer Miles pretty frustrated out on that mound.
I don't blame Cowser for watching that at all. That was a pretty home run. Off the bat of the left-handed hitter. Miles looking to lock back in right on right with Blaze Alexander. The pitch outside, ball 1. For Cowser, who had really struggled first 36 games, no homers. That's now his 5th homer in his last 18 games. 1-0. Outside 2-0. So 1-0 Orioles. They score first for the 2nd straight day. Home runs were a big part of the win for them last night. The Rutschman homer and then the big Mayo homer in the 6th. 2-0 pitch. Foul tipped as he runs the fastball in on Alexander. 2-1. All right, maybe not the best timing from us, but I'll still give you
awful timing. I'll take back my statement.
I'll still give you a case. One thing that's allowing Miles to pitch deep a lot, among rookies who have a decent sample, it looked 150 batters faced. He's got the best ground ball rate of any pitcher. When he's getting contact, typically it's not that. 2-1 pitch. Lined in, knocked down on the mound by Miles, who will barehand and underhand flip to first for the out. Looked like he caught it for a moment. It dropped out of the tan glove, but he made the barehand play anyway. 2 outs.
The problem with sinker ballers, and just like that sinking fastball that he threw to Colton Cowser that got hit 430 feet, is when you leave that sinker up, it tends to get hit more. You tend to see a little bit more fly balls. That's when you get the jam shots into the outfield. As a sinker baller, you have to keep it down.
Pitch to Jackson Holiday is a sinker, bottom inside corner, called strike 0-1.
Bottom third of that zone, bottom half of that zone is where you'll get the most success. When it starts to get a little bit elevated, belt high, thigh high, that's when you'll see those fly balls.
0-1 to Holiday. Swing and a miss. Back foot breaking ball. Curveball that dropped below the zone, 0-2. 1-0 Oriole lead. 2 outs, bases empty. Top of the second. Colton Cowser a moment ago blasting the Orioles in front with his 5th of the year. 0-2 pitch to Holiday. Down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. An 18-pitch inning so far. 7-pitch battle with Cowser was the toughest one. 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him on a curve in the dirt. Strikes out Holiday, but the Orioles do strike for a home run. Cowser's blast makes it 1-0 Orioles, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From backyard diamonds to hometown ballparks, community is where the game begins. When it's time to build, repair, or bring people together, count on your locally owned Timber Mart. Proud to support the places we call home. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
You and your partner don't sit the same way. You don't eat the same way. And you sure don't sleep the same way. So why share a bed that forces you to? That's why a Leva Sleep adjustable bed is a better bed. Better for reading, better for watching TV, better for sleeping exactly how you want. With independent control for each side, comfort becomes personal again. Better your life when you better your bed. Visit one of our Lev-Asleep showrooms or levasleep.com. Lev-Asleep, the better bed.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
From backyard projects to major renovations, your local Timber Mart is here to help. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY enthusiast, we provide the right materials, expert advice, and trusted guidance to get your projects done right. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Middle in fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, and the Orioles are in front now, 1-0 on a Colton Cowser solo home run. Wind gusting on a sunny day at Rogers Center as Jesus Sanchez leads it off against Kyle Bradish. The pitch, fastball in there for a strike 0-1. Sanchez, Clement, Valenzuela are the batters due up for the Blue Jays. Sanchez, the left fielder today, batting .278 with a .757 OPS. 0-1. Swing and a liner off the fist, sinking quickly and down in right field, a base hit. Jesus Sanchez stops at first with a leadoff single.
Slider got in on him just a little bit, but he was able to dump it out in front of Colton Cowser in right field. That's a big leadoff base hit for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now you can try to get something going, potentially manufacture something. Ernie Clement coming to the plate. He's swinging the bat pretty well right now.
Ernie Clement, the American League leader in hits with 74 and doubles with 19. Steps up, runner on first, nobody out. Third baseman Mayo playing slightly in the pitch. Slide step and a fastball in there, or slider in there, pardon me, strike one. Clement hitting .303 on the year, 5 home runs, 19 doubles, as I mentioned, and 22 RBIs. From the stretch, Bradish with an 0-1. In there for a strike 0-2. Very rarely do you see 2 called strikes on Ernie Clement, the free swinger, to start an at-bat. Wide open right side of the infield with Alonso holding on Sanchez. The 0-2. Rolled over toward third base, hit softly. Mayo gloves, throws to second. 1 no play at first. It's a fielder's choice. And there's 1 out. Clement now the runner for the Blue Jays.
How about that average for Jesus Sanchez? 282 now. He's slowly starting to creep its way up to 300.
Yeah, he's getting his hits. He'll take a jog back to the dugout now. Speaking of getting his hits, although it's a little more for power right now, Brandon Valenzuela coming up for the Blue Jays. Switch hitting catcher, batting left. He hit a home run from the left side in yesterday's game. The pitch, check swing, pitch low. Field to third, he didn't go, ball 1. Runner on first, Clement. He has 2 stolen bases on the year, has not been caught yet. Rutschman does handle himself really well behind home plate. Threw out Jimenez yesterday. 1-0. Swing and a liner over the leap of Alonso. Fair down the right field line. Rolling into the corner. Clement around second. He's racing for third. He'll get his stop sign there. Valenzuela stops at second with a double, and the Blue Jays are in business. Second and third, 1 out in the bottom of the second inning.
Good swing from Valenzuela. That was a curveball that backed up a little bit out of that right arm of Kyle Bradish, and he stayed on it and ripped it over the outstretched glove of Pete Alonso at first base. Another beautiful swing from him. Blue Jays have some work to do, especially with Okamoto at the plate. Runners at second and third with still just 1 out here in this inning.
4th double for Valenzuela. Corners drawn in now for the Baltimore Orioles. Kazuma Okamoto up second and third, 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Blue Jays did not score an earned run on Kyle Bradish in the start in Baltimore. Here's the pitch. Swing and a pop foul into the seats out of play, 0-1. Okamoto batting .230, 747 OPS, 7 doubles, and a team-leading 13 home runs and 35 RBIs. Kick in the 0-1. Called a strike, a slider that drops over the plate, 0-2. Okamoto does lead the American League with 82 strikeouts. Now the whole infield is going to come in with 2 strikes. The middle infielders move in as well. Second and third, 1 out. With shadows coming in, the 0-2 is swung on and popped foul into the seats. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Couple tricky times today where right before the pitch is gone or is coming in, clouds seem to race across the field. And even static shadows can be tough for hitters. I can't imagine when the shadows are moving towards you as you're hitting. All of a sudden, shade over the diamond as Bradish sets, and now sun coming over it again. 0-2 pitch. Down and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good take. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to elevate with a fastball here. A couple of good sliders in a row. That last one, Okamoto just couldn't, or just didn't pull the trigger on it. Obviously, it was out of the zone, but wouldn't be surprised if they try to go hard up and in.
All 4 pitches to Okamoto have been breaking balls. The 1-2. Swing and a liner headed toward left and down for a base hit. Clement will race to the plate. On to third, Valenzuela, an RBI single for Kazuma Okamoto. And the Blue Jays have knotted it up at 1 in the bottom of the second.
Well, they did throw the fastball, 97 miles an hour, but it was middle. And Okamoto was right on it. He ripped it into left field. Ernie Clement actually went back to the bag to tag. Good base running from him, but he scores pretty easily. Valenzuela ends up at third base.
Infield will stay in. First and third, 1 out. Andres Jimenez to hit, the lefty swinging shortstop. Okamoto's team-leading RBI total now up to 36. He leads off first. Valenzuela off third. And the pitch to Andres Jimenez. Fouled off the glove of Rutschman into the netting. We welcome you to the Timbermart broadcast booth. You don't win games without fundamentals, and you don't build without quality materials. Your local Timbermart has all the tools, supplies, and expertise you need to step up to the plate and score big on every project. Timbermart, Canada's building center. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 1-1 score, bottom of the second. First and third, 1 out. And the 0-1 to Andres Jimenez. Up and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Interesting defensive alignment. They are playing him to pull, although the second baseman Holiday is actually not that deep in the hole. They're almost playing him up the middle a little bit. Henderson is near the second base bag, and Holiday's kind of at traditional second base, as if there wasn't a shift. Entire infield in, though. The 1-1. Fouled back 1-2.
Andres Jimenez trying to lift something out to the outfield and score that run from third base. Now with 2 strikes, you just cut down. You're trying to make contact, hopefully poke something through that drawn-in infield.
With his speed, he is a tough guy to double up on a ball on the ground. Mayo was just faking a throw to second like he's turning 2. Third baseman gets set, and the 1-2 to Jimenez is foul tip, strike 3. Puts him away with a sinker elevated at 96, and there are 2 down. Still runners on the corners.
That's where they wanted that fastball to Okamoto. Didn't quite get it there, but they got it there against Andres Jimenez. A big strikeout for Bradish and the Orioles.
First K for Kyle Bradish. Got a piece of it, but not enough. Jimenez, and now with 2 down and still runners on the corners. Miles Straw will come up to the plate, looking to extend this 1-run, 3-hit inning. The pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Valenzuela shuffled forward, but turns it back to third base as Rutschman picked that ball clean. Big double by Valenzuela set up the RBI single by Kazuma Okamoto. Blue Jays have Bradish cornered with 2 outs in the second. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a chopper to shortstop. Glove by Henderson, chin high, and he'll underhand flip to second to end the inning. The Blue Jays get a run on 3 hits, leave a pair on, and take a 1-1 tie to the third. Stick with us. Former Blue Jays outfielder Kevin Pillar joins us on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Before Sleep Country, my mattress was so old that when I bought it, this was the song of the summer. Then I went to their Time to Switch event, where their sleep experts really listened to my needs and found me the perfect sleep setup. Now I wake up actually rested. They even offered to take my old mattress away. Something about putting it in a museum? Get better sleep with a better bed. Right now, buy one featured pillow and get a second one free. Only at Sleep Country for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Speak to a sleep expert for details.
There's nothing worse than waiting in long lines around the ballpark. That's why Bet365 has 5-run early payout. When the team you're riding goes up 5 runs at any point in the game, they'll pay your bet out right then and there, win or lose. No waiting required. Now you can go back for another hot dog. Bet365. Download the app and see what early payout's all about. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Foul tip, strike 3. Jeff Hoffman punches out a trio and a big flex from the righty.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
1-1 Blue Jays and Orioles, top of the 3rd inning. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Blue Jays just tied it up now. Spencer Miles deals to Taylor Ward, and the first pitch is down and away, ball 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue and former Blue Jay outfielder, Sportsnet analyst, and many other things, Kevin Pillar, joining us as well. 1-0 pitch to Taylor Ward is hit off the end of the bat, foul, 1-1. Kevin, today you're on Blue Jays Central, which folks can catch after the game, but we appreciate you coming in and lending some analysis during the game as well.
I appreciate it.
Taylor Ward, a former teammate of yours, up at the plate. And the 1-1 pitch from Miles. Called to strike at the knees, 1-2. Sinker baller Miles got into a bit of trouble in the second inning with an elevated sinker. Homer from Colton Cowser did punch out a pair in that inning. Now he's ahead 1-2 in the pitch to Ward. Down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you mentioned he's one of my former teammates. He's probably one of the most disciplined hitters I've ever played with. Extremely disciplined in his game planning. He has a really good idea what he wants to do every time he steps in the box.
2-2. Up and in, ball 3. It's interesting, when Chris Bassett met with the media today and he was talking about some of the guys that he's bonded with, he singled out Ward as being like a big gamer, someone he really enjoyed playing with for the first time this year.
Yeah, I mean, he shows up every day. He's got an idea what he wants to do. He understands who he is as a player.
He takes a pitch, though, over the top of the zone. Called strike 3 there on a sinker at the top, 1 down.
I mean, I think that's a perfect example. We'll see it as a strikeout, but he's a big believer in playing the long game. Like, he knows that's not what he's looking for, and that's kind of a 50-50 pitch. It's a great pitch right there, but he feels like if I try to fight that off, if I expand, I'm getting out of my game plan. He's okay walking back to the dugout, but he's also a guy who walks, I think he's walked over 50 times this year.
55 walks on the year to now 56 because he walked in the first inning. 1 out, Gunnar Henderson to the plate, and the pitch from Spencer Miles is in there for a strike. 0-1. Chris, when you're dealing with someone like that and you know it's going to be really disciplined to their game plan, what does that do for a pitcher? How do you attack that?
Well, I think you just stick to your game plan. You just, whatever pitch you're most comfortable throwing, you throw that pitch. And it looked like Spencer Miles did that right there. It was like Pillar said, it was a beautiful pitch on the outside part. I mean, a pitcher's pitch at 96 miles an hour, tough to pull the trigger.
A miss with an 0-1 curveball, and now the wind in, the 1-1 from Miles. Henderson swings and lines it, deflected down off the glove of Miles. Charging Clement, he'll glove throw to first, and he gets him. Miles took enough off of it, it wouldn't get through the infield, and the speed of Clement to make the play 2 down. Not an easy play.
Not an easy play at all. But Gunner's swinging the bat really good right now. They're coming out to check on him, but I think that hit all glove right there.
It looked like it went off kind of the flap of the glove.
Seems like he's got a quick glove out there.
It's twice today.
I remember when I was pitching and I'd try to bring that glove up, it was almost like a weight was in my hand, but it seems like Spencer Miles is quick with it.
Do you think that has anything to do with maybe mechanics? Did you have kind of like a lower glove?
Lower. I was lower. So if you finish high, maybe it's easier to kind of stick that glove out and potentially do what Spencer Miles has done twice in this game already. That's actually a good point because I did finish low.
Would you say that's comparable to, and obviously you didn't hit though, but is that comparable to like getting hit by a pitch? Like
I did
there's
hit.
like a fear.
I'm that old. I did.
I know. You did. Did you ever get hit by a pitch when you were hitting?
No.
But that's just like a scary thing when it comes back.
Yeah, very scary.
Miles is all right, by the way, after the check. 2 down, bases empty, and the pitch to Adley Rutschman is grounded right side. Long run, Clement snares it, spins, throws to first in time for the out to end the inning. A quick 1-2-3. We'd love to have you around, but if you got to get back to your responsibilities, we'll have Kevin on the other side for the bottom of the third. 1-1 score, Blue Jays and Orioles. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's the thing. Want to be the grandparents who bolted to the burbs, or the cool relatives still living in NYC? The city that people come to be at the center of everything. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy has the tools, agents, and guidance to make you a forever New Yorker, too. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow, Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing. Smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's Byrna, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
Do you know the following baseball slang? Today's phrase is shoestring catch. Do you know what it means? Shoestring catch, a running catch made near a fielder's feet, close to his shoelaces.
What a play by Sayers. He steals a hit from Acuna.
Make a shoestring catch. Expand your vocabulary with the MLB app and MLB.com.
I'll adopt a cat.
Just a cat, Sean? This is a New York lottery win we're talking about.
I'd get the ultra-rare, hairless cat known as the Minskin.
Then?
I'd turn my garage into a rescue menagerie network.
Blue Jays Baseball is brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Port Saunders and Bona Vista, Newfoundland. Protect your vehicle with Canada's #1 rust protection. Find your local Crown Rust Control family at Crown.com. 1-1 score, bottom of the third. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Kevin Pillar and Chris LaRue. Here at Rogers Center in the middle game of this series. Kyle Bradish back on the hill. And George Springer up, second time through the order for Bradish. He walked Springer in the first. Now the right-hander deals home. And the pitch is inside, ball one. Kevin, if you were hitting against Kyle Bradish today, what are the kinds of things you might have in your head?
Yeah, location of like, understanding what I like to do. Like for me, the kryptonite for me was the slider down and away. I felt like I handled the ball in the inner half a little bit better. So for me, I would be setting my lane a little bit closer to me, understanding that ball is going to run in closer to me. I'd have an idea of where I want that sinker to start, and I would really just be trying to hit off the sinker. You know, if he hangs the slider, I think I'm going to recognize it. But I feel like if you push the sinker out over the plate, I would have a tendency to chase it. So I wanted the ball to feel like it was crowding me a little bit more.
3 misses with sinkers right now for Bradish, by the way. He's trying to get that inside edge, but can't find it right now. It's 3-0.
You talked about the importance of that first at bat, not only getting on base, but when you're able to see 7 pitches, it allows you to game plan even better for your next at bat. That's something I think the Blue Jays need to improve on first time through the order. As a hitter, especially when you're facing a traditional starter, you know you're going to get a second and probably a third at bat off them. Not to be in a rush. You need to kind of set up one at-bat to the other. Depending on the situation, if there's runner second and third, go up there, be aggressive, try to drive in a run. But if there's no one on base, try to see a lot of pitches because the at-bats later in the game might be the most important at-bats.
Springer takes a strike, hits one foul. It's 3-2. And we'll say to his credit, this is now 13 pitches once the next one goes in, seen by George Springer so far in this game. He's doing his job as the leadoff guy.
Yeah, and also understanding, yes, you're trying to win every game, but ideally you're trying to win series. And sometimes that involves trying to get a starter like Kyle Bradish out of the game a little bit sooner, having to face more guys in the bullpen.
3-2 pitch, hit on the ground to third, charging Mayo Hill glove and throw out Springer at first. 1 out.
See, a lot of people will see that as kind of an unsuccessful at bat because he didn't reach base there. But the fact he's able to see a lot of pitches, that's just wear and tear on the pitcher. That's more information that his teammates can now see. Maybe he doesn't have command of that sinker in. that's where the conversations in the dugout, when you're a really good collective offensive unit, he's coming back, sharing the information like, hey, the fastball feels like it's starting here. He's missing in. Maybe we can push him out over the plate.
A lot of starters into the 7th against the Blue Jays recently. First pitch to Nathan Lucas, called to strike 0-1. 1-1 score, 1 out, bottom of the 3rd inning.
You talked about obviously from a pitching standpoint, you're going to stay with your game, but when you know you're facing a team that's very aggressive, you're going to kind of alter your game a little bit. Like you might try to get ahead early, but then you're going to also expand a little bit more, knowing that an offensive team is going to expand a little bit more.
But that's the game plan. Before the game, obviously, you know this. You go with the scouting report. These guys are aggressive. Maybe throw strike one. That's obviously the goal of the majority of pitchers. Get ahead, throw strike one, and then you expand. It's an interesting conversation. Do you stay with what's made you so successful, or do you change the game plan based on who you're facing? I think there's different viewpoints and different thoughts on that, but generally speaking, I'm just a get ahead and stick with your game plan type of guy, unless there's a team that's incredibly aggressive.
Blue Jays do lead the American League in chase. 1-2 count on Lucas, and the pitch is at the knees, called strike 3. Really good sinker there from Bradish for a looking strikeout. 2 down.
I'm sure you've faced teams in your career, too, that were high chase teams. And maybe even the conversation was, don't even worry about strike one. Like, throw your best kind of chase pitch early. That's another way to get ahead in the count, too.
But it was also different for me because I was a reliever. So I was coming into the game, and I was just throwing my best stuff. It didn't matter who was up. I was, throwing a sinker in and a slider away. I think it's a little bit different. Actually, I know it's a little bit different if you're a starter.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the plate, takes down and away, ball 1. Vladdy, by the way, still looking to get going from a power perspective. Does not have a homer at Rogers Center this year.
That's hard to believe.
What's he on pace for?
I'd have to do some math. Give me a moment. 1-0 pitch inside.
Well, I think I had heard that he was on pace for more stolen bases than he was home runs at the end of the year.
That's definitely true. 5 stolen bases, 3 home runs.
He hits them in bunches, though, so
he can. It's about 8 home run pace right now. I wouldn't dive into that too far. 2-0. Low ball 3.
My question was mostly joking.
Now, yeah. And if you go back to 2023, I will say he did not hit a home run at Rogers Center in 2023 until June 23rd against the Athletics. The only difference was he had 9 home runs at that point. They were just all on the road. 3-0 pitch. Called strike, 3-1.
Yeah, there's some things in baseball you just can't really try to overthink and make sense of, because obviously here at the Rogers Center, it is a very hitter-friendly environment, right? If he was playing maybe in a bigger yard, before they moved the fences in Kansas City, you could maybe try to make sense of it. But the fact he hasn't been able to hit one at home is a bit odd.
Hits one into his foot there on the 3-1, and it's full count here. Hunched over Guerrero, using his bat as a cane as he limps out of the box. Full count.
Well, the thing that I've noticed, and this is strictly from a pitcher's perspective, is the swings have been, and not all of them, but some of them have been pretty awkward, right? Out in front, can't really do damage. Even if you're making contact, he's swinging at sliders away off the plate. He's swinging at sinkers in off the plate. And as a hitter, if you're offering at both of those locations, you're probably not going to be as successful as you should be.
Yeah, they're coming out to check on him. But I do believe what you're saying is very accurate. As a hitter, it is really hard to be kind of in between. I think that's exactly what you're describing. Is the fact that he's chasing a sinker in and also a slider away is telling me that he's trying to cover the whole plate. Typically if you were, maybe chasing a sinker that's a little bit or a fastball off the plate away and chasing the slider off, it's okay, we know where his eyes are. But if you're chasing the entirety of the plate, you're looking for everything. You're not really looking for anything specific. So for him, and honestly right now, he's seeing so much spin right now that I would love personally to get him out on the field early. I know that's not what he typically loves to do, but come out here, get some confidence hitting the slider and having the confidence to go in a game and be like, I'm sitting on something soft. I'm going to get it, and I'm not going to miss it, because at some point you need to hit the off-speed to earn the fastball right now.
Guerrero staying in, by the way. Big news for the Blue Jays. Full count, 2 outs, bases empty, and the pitch is downstairs, ball 4. He'll drop the bat in front of him and take a walk on a curveball. It's not as typical, but actually in recent weeks there has been more of that early work for Guerrero as he's trying to fight his way through what's been at least a power slump, at times a slump overall for him.
And that's a good point that you made about the spin. If I'm standing out on that mound and I throw 2 sliders in a row, and it's the awkward out in front, in between swing that I'm seeing, I might elevate a fastball just to change the eye level, but I'm coming right back to that slider or that curveball away because I know that he can't hit it.
Yeah, and pitchers understand that. They're going to use that fastball as a show pitch. So maybe in his mind he's like, okay, maybe I'll get a fastball at some point.
Yeah.
But in the meeting, like, we're not getting beat with the fastball. We're just going to spin him to death. We'll show him the fastball so it's in the back of his mind. Yeah. It's different if you just went up and threw 8 sliders in a row. A hitter at some point is going to see enough of them to kind of sit on it or understand where it needs to start. But the fact that they're still using the fastball enough, maybe they're not strikes, but showing it enough, it got him. It still has him a little bit in between.
Jesus Sanchez up 0-1 count. He swings at the second pitch, bounces it up the middle, off the glove of Holiday, the second baseman. Vladdy around second as it goes into center field. He'll get to third, so that back foot that he fouled a pitch off of looks like that's all right. First and third now for the Blue Jays with 2 down on his second base hit of the game for Jesus Sanchez.
Great base running, too, from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That ball was in front of him and tipped off the glove of Jackson Holiday. Kind of trickled away from Leody Taveras out in center field. So he saw that play, and he made it to third base really easily.
His hand's on his knees, so maybe still a little bit of pain for Vladdy. Looking at the replay, a little bit ginger on the run, but he gets there in time. And we'll see if Ernie Clement can come up with a big knock.
Yeah, the pain of fouling a ball off your foot or your shin, your knee, just doesn't go away immediately. You just have to kind of just go out there, be a little bit tough. When you get a chance like that, it probably doesn't hurt as much going first as third, but when you get to third base, you're like, I just fouled a ball off my foot.
First pitch to Clement, down and away, ball 1.
Kev, what do you think of Ronald Acuna Jr. and all of his padding? Looks like a football player up there.
Yeah,
I have my thoughts on it.
He's missed like 3 full seasons.
I get that. I totally understand that. But as a former right-handed hitter, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'll be honest with you. And obviously I play with Ronald. I know what he's kind of...
1-0 pitch, crushed out to left field, deep toward the bullpen, and gone! A 3-run rocket for Ernie Clement, and the Blue Jays blast their way in front. 4-1 they lead now in the bottom of the third.
Little hanging slider from Kyle Bradish, and Ernie Clement didn't miss it. Snuck it over that wall into the Blue Jays bullpen out in left field. That's what the Blue Jays have been waiting for. That's what they need. They need the slug. They need the big 2 or 3 run home run. It's tough to score runs and string together 3 or 4 singles in a row. That's a great swing, a big swing for the Toronto Blue Jays.
All those runs coming with 2 outs as well. It was 2 outs, base is empty. Vladdy gets the walk. Sanchez sneaks through the hit. And Ernie comes up with a big swing, 4-1. 2 outs, base is empty, and the pitch to Brandon Valenzuela. Swing and a grounder over the mound, up the middle into center field. 4 in a row have reached here with 2 outs, and Valenzuela is 2 for 2.
Yeah, it's not exactly how you draw it up every inning. Sometimes you want to get the leadoff man. You want to get him over, but good teams find ways to score runs even with 2 outs, and sometimes it starts with just having a good at-bat like Vladdy had right there. I know Vladdy wants to be the guy. I know he wants to produce. I know he wants to drive the ball out of the ballpark right now, but sometimes you have to understand where you're at, how teams kind of still view you as being the guy in the middle of the lineup. Take your walks, trust the guys behind you. And I think he gets some criticism sometimes. And I think Vladdy, for being a superstar player, he's a very unselfish superstar. He really does trust the guys around him. And yes, we can sit here, and I could sit here and say, yes, I want Vladdy to do certain things and carry the team when things aren't going well. But that's who he is by nature. He is a superstar player who trusts the guys around him. And he could have very easily tried to go out of the zone right there, try to make something happen. He trusts the guy behind him. Sanchez is swinging a hot bat, able to, advance him to third. And then you got Ernie Clement, the guy who's leading the league in hits, the guy you want up in a situation right now.
And a 4-1 Blue Jay lead because of it on Clement's 6th of the year. Cosma Okamoto to the plate. Runner on first, 2 down, and the pitch is in there, strike 1.
But that's also why protection is so important. If you have a guy like Vlad and you have a guy struggling behind Vlad, that makes Vlad feel like he needs to do a little bit more. So to have a guy like Ernie Clement behind him who's swinging the bat pretty well right now makes that at-bat a little bit more comfortable, takes some of the pressure off of Vlad. I mean, I could be wrong with that.
No, you're 100%. Obviously, you've been on the mound, and we talked about it a little bit on the pregame show with Adley Rushman. There's a reason he still has to get pitched to because Pete Alonso's standing behind him. Even though we talked about the numbers and Adley Rutschman's kind of been the thorn in the side against the Toronto Blue Jays, but when you still have protection behind you, at some point you have to face a guy, and for Jesus Sanchez to continually, swing a hot bat, at some point it's going to force team's hand to have to face Vladdy Guerrero.
Swing and a miss on the 1-1. It's 1-2, 2 outs, and a runner on first.
Yeah, I think if you ask any pitcher if the guy on deck matters, I'm sure there are some guys that'll lie to you and say no, but I would say the large majority of pitchers know who's standing on deck.
1-2 pitch, line out to left field, and down in front of Taylor Ward. Blaze Alexander out there in left, who is playing deep because of Okamoto's power. He sneaks in a line drive in front of him. He's 2 for 2. Valenzuela to second. And this is 5 in a row now that have reached for the Blue Jays with 2 outs. All of a sudden, if you're the Orioles, Kyle Bradish has thrown a lot of pitches in this inning, and you might need to start thinking about future plans.
And look, this goes back to that George Springer at bat. Yes, he weakly grounded out, but the fact that he was able to get to a 3-2 count, fight off a pitch, see 7 pitches, all these things add up over the course of a game, over a series.
25-pitch inning right now for Kyle Bradish, who deals to Andres Gimenez. Left-handed hitter takes a strike. First and second, 2 down, 4-1 Blue Jays. Bottom of the 3rd inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Kevin Pillar and Chris LaRue.
You certainly don't take the foot off the gas right here.
Gimenez could really use a big hit. Last 20 games, 7 for 58, 0 for 1 so far today. A 1 pitch. Swinging a liner, sinking quickly, down in right center. Getting the wave around third, Valenzuela. Okamoto chugging for third. He'll stop to let Valenzuela score. He's in a rundown, tagged out by Mayo. Not the best advance, but he makes up for it. The run will count. And the Blue Jays get an RBI single, 5-1 at the end of 3.
No, I think that's great base running right there. That ball was hit hard enough where if you even think there was a play at home plate, right now you want to score runs. He does a great job advancing to third. And as you saw, he peeked over his shoulder, knew that the ball was coming to third base, stayed in the rundown long enough to make sure that the run scored.
5-1 Blue Jays on a 4-run inning. We go to the 4th. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin Pillar. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet radio.
Here's the thing. Want to be the grandparents who bolted to the burbs, or the cool relatives still living in NYC? The city that people come to be at the center of everything. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy has the tools, agents, and guidance to make you a forever New Yorker, too. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow, Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing: smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's Byrna, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'll adopt a cat.
Just a cat, Sean? This is a New York lottery win we're talking about.
I'd get the ultra-rare, hairless cat known as the Minskin.
Then?
I'd turn my garage into
Radio Network.
The 4th inning is brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app for the latest odds. 19+, play responsibly. Ontario only. 5-1 Blue Jays, 4-run inning, bottom of the 3rd. 5-1 Blue Jay lead in the top of the 4th. And Spencer Miles starts off Pete Alonso with a strike 0-1. Thanks again to Kevin Pillar. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Big inning for the Blue Jays, all created with 2 outs. And now Miles with a cushion deals an 0-1. Called strike 0-2. Needless to say, a lot easier for Spencer Miles to do his job with a 4-run lead.
Yeah, you're feeling a little bit more comfortable. You can pound the zone a lot like a reliever coming into the ball game in the 8th or 9th inning when you're up by 2 as opposed to 1. Trust the stuff a little bit more here.
0-2 to Alonso. fouled back, still 0-2.
It's always fun having a guy like Pilar on, and even when I have side conversations with Caleb, they're very knowledgeable when it comes to hitting. And obviously I hit in college, but it's completely different. Every time I talk to those guys, Pilar or Caleb, I learn something new.
I just like watching you guys go back and forth from different perspectives. 0-2. High and outside 1-2. You can catch Kevin and Chris at times as well.
At times, yes. At times.
Kevin at times on Blue Jays Central. One-two pitch. Down and away, 2-2.
I will say I much prefer the golf shirt as opposed to the suit. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I enjoy a healthy mix of both. But on a day like today, it's a golf shirt kind of day. 25 degrees and sunny, beautiful day in downtown Toronto. Still most of the diamond in the sunlight as the blonde-haired Miles kicks and delivers a 2-2. And it's hit on the ground at third, down to Ani Okamoto. Pops up, throws to first, gets Alonso with a stretch from Vlad, and there's one out. Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard. It's brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Happy hour menu starts at just $4 and is on every day from 5 to 9. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. We're going to go to a place that I hope is warm right now as well. Well, I guess actually not Buffalo, New York. Worcester, Massachusetts, as the first pitch misses low to Kobe Mayo, ball one. The Buffalo Bisons are at Polar Park in Worcester, home of the Woo Sox, the Worcester Red Sox. And on the mound for the Blue Jays today is Shane Bieber. 1-0. Outside 2-0. He hasn't gone yet because they're just in the top of the first inning right now. The game is getting underway. Chris, here's a shocker. Davis Schneider walked as the leadoff hitter to begin the game. His 21st walk in 11 AAA games so far this year. 2-0 pitch, Miles to Mayo, and it's grounded softly toward third. It hooks foul, 2-1.
What's he now? 4 for 20.
For
no, 4 for 21 with 19 walks.
You're like slightly off, but not as far as you would think. He is 4 for 24, but has 21 walks in just over 10 games. He's in his 11th AAA game.
It's odd that that's not surprising, though. Maybe the lack of hitting.
It's a little, but yes. Yeah. I mean, it's not like fall off your chair, but that's a lot of walks. 2-1. Swing and a foul back, 2-2. I mean, that's like, you're talking about 2 walks a game. Let's look at Barry Bonds, which I know we're talking way different.
Or even a Joey Votto would be up there as well.
Barry Bonds in 2004 walked 232 times, which is insane. In 147 games. That's not 2 walks a game. That's still a little bit shy of that. And 120 of those walks by Bonds were intentional walks. These are not intentional walks to Davis Schneider at AAA. Hardly are any intentional walks, I believe, at AAA. 2-2 pitch to Mayo is fouled off of Valenzuela's leg, and he jolted forward in pain. He's up now, jogging outside of the dirt circle. Still 2-2.
That right thigh is getting peppered over the last couple of days. Home plate umpire Edwin Moscoso is going to give him a couple of extra seconds.
Looks like he's all right, though. The 25-year-old catcher back in the crouch. Miles stepped off for a moment. Pitch clock does not reset when you do that, so he gets back on quickly. And with one on the clock, starts the wind, and the 2-2 is popped up foul into the seats out of play, still 2-2. See Valenzuela circling his finger quickly, his pointer finger on his right hand, saying, let's go quickly here. You got to get back on the rubber to get the pitch off. And he did. No harm, no foul. 5-1 Blue Jays. Bases empty, top of the fourth inning. The 2-2 pitch is skied very high, shallow right center. Lucas, the right fielder, was first on it, looking up with his sunglasses reflecting the sun. He'll make the grab. 2 down. Yeah, pretty big for the Blue Jays to have Shane Bieber now at AAA. It's unclear if he's as close as Scherzer and Cease. Scherzer and Cease, it looks like, might make their next start at the big league level. They might be back soon. Bieber could be. Who knows? We just haven't heard as much about his status yet. 2 outs, Leote, Taveras up in a first pitch curve for a strike, 0-1. But they haven't had a pitch thrown in the majors by Bieber yet. He'd be such a big boost.
Yeah, do we know what the velocity is at, though?
Well, in about 30 minutes.
Well, no.
I'll tell you.
All right.
0-1. Popped up foul, third base side, playable for Okamoto, who reels it in, and that's a comfortable 1-2-3 inning for Spencer Miles. 5-1 Blue Jays, middle of the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
A painter and a pitcher, Blue Jays starter Dylan Cease knows something about the art of pitching.
The artist must know how and when to use their tools. A four-seamer here, a slider there, the occasional knuckle curve. It's an expression of personal style.
I mean, this is an electric arm.
Paints the corner for strike 3. On Wednesday, June 10th, show your appreciation for the art of pitching with your very own Dylan Cease bobblehead giveaway. Where will you be?
At Subway, we like to ask, how spicy do you want to be?
So, tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Yo!
Subway's new Wannabe Spicy menu. 3 subs from mild piri-piri ranch chicken to wild hot honey chicken, all the way to wicked Nashville-style deli, freshly prepared on our new ghost pepper bread. Just tell us which one you really, really want.
I want to really, really, really want a zig. Ah.
Sounds good. Want to make it a combo?
How spicy do you want to be? Subway, eat fresh, feel good. Freshly prepared, limited time at participating restaurants.
I was a competitive skater, and that journey took me to the Olympics. After I retired, I found tennis. Aging does not mean slowing down. It just means being smart about your movement and equipment. And that's where Kintec comes in. They listened, they were attentive, and they were able to provide solutions. Staying active means my independence and my freedom. Kintec enabled me to have longevity in the things that I enjoy doing.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Clement vacuums it up, throws to second one. Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jay half the fourth inning. 5-1 Blue Jays lead the middle matchup of this series. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kyle Bradish on the hill facing Miles Straw. Corners pinched in right now for the Orioles in case Straw tries to bunt himself aboard. Here's Bradish's pitch. It's up and in, ball 1. We welcome you to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. When it's time to build, renovate, or upgrade, your local Timber Mart has the materials, the know-how, and the team to help you win every time. From the first swing to the final finish, build with confidence at Timber Mart, Canada's building center. Next pitch in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count on Straw. Alongside myself and Chris, Show Otley, our host, Nick Blackmore, producer, Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. 1-1 to Straw. Down and away, ball 2. And we have our first ABS challenge. It's brought to you by X-Copper. Find yourself with a legal challenge. Canada's leader in legal services are here to help. Team at X-Copper are client-focused and work on your behalf to protect your rights. Don't plead guilty. Go to xcopper.com. Rutschman there, guilty of an incorrect challenge. He missed with that one. It's 2 balls and 1 strike, and the Orioles have 1 left.
He is, in fact, guilty.
But don't plead it yet. At least give yourself a shot. 2-1 pitch. Called strike, 2-2. Miles Straw getting the start today. No Dalton Varsho after he left the game early yesterday with left wrist inflammation. 2-2. Rolled over foul, still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got a little update from John Schneider on that today. Just a day-to-day ailment, it seems like, for Varsho, letting it calm down. Just some inflammation, nothing more. Something that he had dealt with a little more early in his career with Arizona, but it's not a foreign injury to him. 2-2. Rolled over a swing and bunt foul again, third base side. And Schneider had said that Varsho actually came up and said, I can play defense. I might be able to keep hitting. And they just decided, let's not risk it. So they did leave him out for defense, but when he was going to hit the second time, yanked him out.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit during the game last night, that if it was as serious as it could have been, then he probably wouldn't be out in center field playing defense in the top of the half, or the top of the inning.
They did say they're probably not going to use him today, try and give him a full day off. 2. Swinging a foul back, still 2-2. Seems like a similar situation for Samuel Basayo of the Orioles. They, after the game, got the positive update that it did not seem like there was any real structural damage when he had some side discomfort. But they made a move today, the Orioles, bringing up catcher Sam Huff, DFAing Weston Wilson to have a little bit of cover in case Rutschman were to get hurt. 2-2. Down and away, ball 3. I don't like this plate appearance from Straw. 8 pitches from the 9-hitter to start the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, 67 pitches now for Bradish here in the bottom of the 4th, still with nobody out.
5-1 Blue Jays, out hitting the Orioles 8-2. And the payoff pitch is popped up foul, first base side. Rutschman going over, called off by Alonso, who makes the grab on the foul turf. And there's 1 out. Other health-related updates to do with the Blue Jays. I was asked today a little bit about Addison Barger, who has not gotten into games yet since returning and then re-injuring himself with that elbow injury. First, George Springer up to the plate. 1 out, base is empty. And the pitch from Bradish is down and away, ball 1. And they just said that period where they were hoping for it to calm down a little bit and for that range of motion to come back lasted longer than anticipated. That's why there was the delay. They didn't mention any sort of setback or anything like that, but just that it was a slower recovery than they expected. He got an injection. 1-0 pitch, fouled back. Springer down to a knee, 1-1. But now he is, as John Schneider described it, aggressively ramping up his hitting and throwing, and they said middle to end of next week he should be in games.
Sometimes that injection works wonders. I've had a couple of injections in my career, and you wake up a week later and all of a sudden the injury feels like it never happened.
The 1-1. Low 2-1.
Now, with that being said, if there's a tear or something serious, that injection does absolutely nothing.
Right. It's just for inflammation.
Right.
But did you get like a PRP injection? Like the
No, cortisone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, both times in my shoulder. Different times in my career. You're not supposed to do it, I think more than once a year, twice a year.
2-1 pitch down and away, ball 3.
I believe, and I could be wrong, every time you do it, it weakens the ligaments and weakens the surrounding structure. Just a little bit.
Now, neither of us are doctors.
Right. Well, we could text my brother. He probably does.
You could. 3-1 pitch. Check swing. Pitch down and away. Appeal to first. He did not go. And George Springer works his second walk of the game. All of his plate appearances have looked very comfortable today. And he's worked a ton of pitches out of Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, pretty good body language, too, after taking that walk. Looking back at the dugout, nodding his head. Pretty confident as he trots down to first base.
He's seen 18 pitches, I believe, in the 3 plate appearances as George Springer. Second time through the order, the Blue Jays did a lot of damage against Bradish. Now their third time through. Nathan Lucas is up. He's 0 for 2. The pitch, Springer takes off, and it's a swing and a miss. Springer stops, and he's running back to first on a failed hit and run. They got him in a rundown. Throw to Alonso, the first baseman. He'll toss to Henderson, the shortstop. Henderson has it now, chasing him towards second. Springer attempts to dodge. He does, but the throw to Holiday at first, and he'll tag him out to get George Springer. The fans do appreciate Springer's hustle there, but that was clearly a hit and run, and unfortunately it came on just a completely sprayed slider. That slider was way outside of the zone. Lucas tried to flail at it, and by the time he misses that, Springer's kind of just caught.
Yeah, Nathan Lucas was trying to make contact with that pitch, but it was almost like a pitch out. That's how far outside it was.
Big break for Bradish. If there's no hit and run, that's just a big miss, and it's 1-0 with a runner on first. Now it's 0-1, 2 down, bases empty. Right-hander's pitch is grounded over the mound, up the middle, off the second base bag. It sneaks under Henderson into center field. Big break, but I think that should go as a base hit for Lucas. Not Henderson's fault. It takes a tricky bounce, and the Blue Jays have a 2-out hit.
I actually think it hit the backside of the bag, and Gunnar Henderson was anticipating that ball to bounce up, and because it hit the backside of that base, it stayed on the ground and just shot underneath his glove.
Yeah, it turned from a bouncer to a roller very quickly. That's why I would be hard-pressed to assess an error to Gunnar Henderson on that play, given the funky bounce there. Runner on first, 2 down. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up, and the first pitch is low. Ball 1.
There's probably some tough official scorers out there that would say that Gunnar Henderson needed to make that play. I am not one of them.
Today it's our very own Roger Lajoie. And he ruled it a hit, and I agree.
There you go.
1-0 pitch. Called strike, 1-1.
Nathan Lucas continues to live right out there. Lots of good things are happening for him.
Yeah, after some tough luck all around to begin his year, things are working out. It's not luck-based, his hot streak, but he gets a little luck there. 1-1 pitch. Fastball at the knees, 1-2. One-two count, 2 outs, 5-1 Blue Jay lead, bottom of the 4th inning with Lucas on first. The pitch to Guerrero is low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, if you're scoring at home, they caught Springer stealing 2-6, 3-4, 6-4. Those are also today's winning lottery numbers.
Can you repeat that?
2-6, 4-6, 3. I messed it up this time. 2-2 pitch is fouled away. It actually is. Catcher to shortstop Gunnar Henderson, to the first baseman Alonso, to the second baseman Holiday, to the shortstop Henderson, to the second baseman Holiday. Springer actually did dodge a tag, but was a little too far away from either base for it to matter much.
Yeah, by the way, I can almost guarantee that John Schneider said, "Hey, man, you don't need to get in a pickle like that. We don't need you getting hurt again."
That's pretty good vote of confidence for the toe if he's willing to run that much in a rundown. 2-2, swing and a miss, got him on a sinker, and Bradish's K ends the 4th inning. No runs on a hit for the Blue Jays. 1 left, 5-1 lead through 4 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet radio.
Here's the thing. Want to be the grandparents who bolted to the burbs, or the cool relatives still living in NYC? The city that people come to be at the center of everything. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy has the tools, agents, and guidance to make you a forever New Yorker, too. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow, Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing. Smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
I'll adopt a cat.
Just a cat, Sean? This is a New York lottery win we're talking about.
I'd get the ultra-rare, hairless cat known as the Minskin.
Then?
I'd turn my garage into a rescue menagerie for all furless felines.
And when that gets too full?
I'll purchase land in the Catskills for them to sunbathe in hairless abandon.
Only cats?
All hair-free animals looking to roam in bald, beautiful peace.
Can I come?
Do you have hair?
New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Do you know the following baseball slang? Today's phrase is golden sombrero. Do you know what it means?
Radio Network.
The fifth inning is brought to you by Shell V-Power Nitro Plus. Want more performance from your vehicle? Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline is engineered to give you more power and more performance with every drive. 5-1 Blue Jay lead, top of the fifth inning. And an object on the field gives fans a second to look at a big baby on the video screen.
That is a big baby.
Looking very comfortable.
A healthy baby, that's what you're supposed to
For sure. Oh, well, just a big baby. Not in a bad way. First pitch to Colton Cowser, outside ball one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. There's an object on the field in center. That's why everyone's attention turned to the Jumbotron for a moment. Now we're back underway, and Miles deals home. And the pitch is grounded foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fourth inning of work for Spencer Miles, who outside of giving up a solo shot has not given up anything else. Solo shot to Colton Cowser, who's up now, came in the second. He's retired 8 in a row since. 1-1 pitch. Downstairs, 2 balls and 1 strike. Valenzuela liked the spot of that slider, even if Cowser didn't offer.
Yeah, even when that Cowser home run happened, we had mentioned previously that the stuff is better. The location is better than it was in his last outing.
2-1 pitch is hit foul to the left, 2-2.
So no surprise that this outing, even with that solo shot, has gone much better than his last one.
Of what could have been many possibilities of why the last one didn't go as well, John Schneider did mention, hey, we put him in a new role. We started him. Maybe it works better this way. 2-2. Low ball 3. He's not a guy, even though he's pitching like abbreviated starter workload, he's not a guy who has started much at all since his college days. Granted, he hasn't pitched much since his college days, but was used to coming out of the Blue Jay pen. Payoff pitch is on the ground to first base. Guerrero's got it. He waves off Miles and goes to the bag. His foot's looking all right, by the way, after he fouled it off. Feeling a bit more comfortable moving around now. 1 out.
Yeah, nice little play over there. He puts the right hand up, letting Spencer Miles know that he's going to take that himself. But it's interesting that you talk about starting versus being the bulk guy. Your evenings are different. Your sleep patterns are different. Your mornings are different. What you do. Just having that starting pitcher in the back of your mind, I think, changes everything. And it seems like a small thing, but it's really not.
1 out, and the pitch to Blaze Alexander. He'll take high ball 1.
So maybe that could have been part of it. Might not have been. He might could have just been off. You know, sometimes that happens with guys that are pitching a lot more than they normally have.
Next pitch hit foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard while Valenzuela shakes off that foul back into his body. We're going to wait just a little deeper into the start before we do too many minor league checks right now. But at the big league level, it's all Florida matchup. Tampa Bay Rays visiting the Miami Marlins. Shane McClanahan going today for the Rays. His ERA is almost at 2 now, by the way. And that game is scoreless in the bottom of the second. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Blew that fastball at the top by Alexander. 1-2. And then in the division later tonight, Rangers Suarez against Will Warren. The Red Sox against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Red Sox took the opener. Remember, the Yankees dominated them last year and knocked them out in the playoffs. So that's a charged matchup right now. 1-2. Down and in, 2-2. I know Yankees-Red Sox is always a charged matchup. It hasn't quite had the feel of the A-Rod Veritek days in a little bit. But they did match up in a playoff series last year. It feels like that's brought a little bit back to it. 2-2. Grounded foul, still 2-2.
We were talking about rivalries last night, and
I'm more high on the Midwest one than you are, clearly.
Well, no, I was thinking your Midwest comment got me thinking about the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox.
Sure.
Because the White Sox are actually decent this year.
And when they match up, it's a lot of fun. 2-2. Outside ball 3. By the way, the White Sox, who are holding the second wildcard spot, they put a 4-spot up on Andrew Painter in the first inning on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. They're leading 4-0 in Philadelphia. 3-2 pitch. High ball 4, and a walk to Alexander, the 8-hitter, with 1 out. I think people are kind of waiting for the White Sox to maybe fade just because they haven't been competitive in a while. Murakami's on the injured list. They're still playing well.
I think I'm one of those people that are waiting for them to fade.
I understand with the recent history, but they're finding a way right now. It's not a lot of household names, so I think that's why people are not buying in yet. Jackson Holliday to the plate. He'll take a curveball for a strike. 5-1 Blue Jay lead. Runner on first, 1 out, top of the 5th inning. Holliday, the left-handed hitter, taps the plate twice and looks out to the righty Miles. Right on left pitch. High. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lead off first for Alexander. 1-1. Alexander takes off. The pitch is swung on and hit foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alexander, who got a decent jump, will have to go back to the bat.
Yeah, he got a great jump over there at first base. Would have been safe at second really easily. He was flinching. You could tell that he was thinking about going, and he got a really nice secondary and then took off.
Seven stolen bases this year for Blaze Alexander, caught twice. Guerrero holding him on, a step off first, and the pitch. In there, strike 3 looking. Front hip sinker at 96, started like it was going to hit Jackson Holliday and dove into the zone, 2 down.
That's the difference maker for him against left-handed pitching. When you can locate that sinker as well as Miles has outside of his last outing, I mean, that opens up the outside part of the plate, makes the changeup, the slider, that backdoor curveball that much better. That was perfectly executed.
Back to the top of the order goes Miles. 2 outs, runner on first, and the pitch to Taylor Ward. Balled strike. All of our out-of-town scores this inning were brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Ward, a long-time Los Angeles Angel in his first season with the Orioles. 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. It's been a very disciplined year, but for a guy who hit 36 homers last season, his 2 home runs on the year is just a little bit odd to look at. 0-2 count, 2 outs, 5-1 Blue Jays, top of the 5th. Miles deals, and it's hit foul to the right. Out of place, still 0-2.
Valenzuela liked that pitch. I like that pitch too. Sinker on the inner third. Not sure where they were trying to go with that pitch, but in an 0-2 count, you might want to elevate another one, see if you can get Ward to swing underneath it.
Valenzuela to his right knee to call, signals through the pitch com. Blaze Alexander on first, 2 outs, and the 0-2 again. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a curveball. 5 Ks in 4 innings, a 1-run ball for Spencer Miles, and the Blue Jays lead at 5-1, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's the thing. Want to be the grandparents who bolted to the burbs, or the cool relatives still living in NYC? The city that people come to be at the center of everything. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy has the tools, agents, and guidance to make you a forever New Yorker, too. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow, Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing. Smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
I'll adopt a cat.
Just a cat, Sean? This is a New York Lottery win we're talking about.
I'd get the ultra-rare, hairless cat known as the Minskin.
Then?
I'd turn my garage into a rescue menagerie for all furless felines.
And when that gets too full?
I'll purchase land in the Catskills for them to sunbathe in hairless abandon.
Only cats.
All hair-free animals looking to roam in bald, beautiful peace.
Can I come?
Do you have hair?
New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. The team at your local Timber Mart has a wide variety of building supplies and leading brands you need. Clear the fence for a big win on every project. Batter up Timber Mart, Canada's building center. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Our host today is Show Ali, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, and Andrew Adams, our technical directors. After 4 innings, the Blue Jays bounce Kyle Bradish. Keegan Aiken, the veteran left-handed reliever, takes over. And a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. First pitch, swing and a miss by Jesus Sanchez. Aiken, the southpaw, gets ahead of the lefty hitter, 0-1. Sanchez 2 for 2 today, had a hit to extend the inning in the third rather, before a 3-run homer by Clement. Now he'll loft the 0-1 down the left field line. Fading toward foul territory, it goes into the seats. A lot of fade on that one because it looked like Blaze Alexander in left thought he had a beat on it, and then it went not 15 feet into the stands, 0-2.
Looked like the wind pushed it.
That's what I tell myself on the golf course every time.
Yeah, but that's just called a slice.
Dead straight in calm conditions.
Yeah, I bet. But there's never calm conditions, man.
Nope. We'll never know. 0-2. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, I just pull a Scotty Scheffler and I just yell at my caddy.
Do you go in the forest and try to find balls?
So I will admit, I actually don't golf very much. So I don't have that many golf balls. So yes. 1-2. Outside 2-2. This job is slightly prohibitive, plus cost of being able to do that.
That's true.
I'm not going to go like on a journey, but if I can see it, I'll probably grab it. 2-2. Chop to deep short, fielded on the turf. Henderson, slight slip. He throws to first. He's got a lot of zip on that throw to get it there in time for the first out. So Keegan Aiken into the game for the Orioles, getting the out. Ernie Clement about to come up to the plate. Aiken, a 31-year-old left-hander from Michigan, 6 foot tall. This is his 7th season with the Orioles. He will reach the necessary service time after this year to reach free agency for the first time. Pitch to Ernie Clement is shot deep, right field. Going back, Cowser leaps at the wall. It's off the fence. Cowser tumbling down that ball on the turf. Ernie around second. He's headed for third. He'll get there with a stand-up triple. After a 3-run homer in the third, Clement's halfway to the cycle. And the Blue Jays are in business. Runner on third, 1 out. Hopefully Cowser's all right. They're going to check on him now with the training staff.
That was actually a tough pitch from Keegan Aiken on the black on the outside part of the plate at 93 miles an hour. Ernie Clement goes the other way. He pulled that home run into the bullpen in left field, and then he goes the other way, showing off the skills at the plate. Really good stuff from him. Adley Rutschman could have used that triple last night.
Seriously, he was a triple away from the cycle. Trainer Scott Behringer, Craig Albernaz out there in right field as Cowser is still hunched over, and he's dangling his left arm down, gripping and ungripping his left hand.
Yeah, it looks like he's grabbing that left elbow.
He's unfortunately been a guy who's been a bit snake-bitten by injuries the last couple of years, and his elbow went into the chain link part of the fence that allows relievers to see through from the bottom level of the pen. I'm not saying this is the same thing, but I remember a couple of years ago, Kevin Kiermaier did something like that in Boston, and he ended up going on the injured list because of it. And they're doing a lot of work right now on his left arm.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, you've been out there a long time. It looks like Cowser's going to stay in this ball game, but I mean, they've been out there for a good amount of time working on that left elbow, so I would just take him out of the game. And he's not coming out of the game. He's actually staying out in right field, but he doesn't look very comfortable.
Good news if you're Cowser, that's not your throwing arm, so maybe you can wait 10 minutes, see how you feel before you go up to the plate. He bats left, but he throws with his right arm.
Yeah.
But he's still stretching it out right now, getting a feel for it. Orioles have been pretty much as badly hit with injuries as the Blue Jays have. They do not need anything more. Triple for Clement, by the way, is going to bring the infield in. Brandon Valenzuela to the plate, 1 out, and a 5-1 Blue Jay lead. Valenzuela 2 for 2 with a single and a double. The pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep right center field. Cowser racing back to the track. Leaps, makes the catch. Pressing up against the fence. Coming home from third in to score Clement on a deep sac fly. It's 6-1 Blue Jays. An RBI there for Valenzuela.
Great play from Cowser out in right field, slamming up against that wall, near that tall wall out in right center. Big smile on his face. He did his job. He knew that he had to lift something, or at least try to lift something into the outfield and get Ernie Clement home from third base. That's a big run, an important run for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And for Cowser, right after slamming into the wall, makes a great play. Pitch down and away to Okamoto, ball 1.
Isn't that always how it always happens, though?
Yeah. You sub in, the ball gets hit at you. Like, whatever you don't want to happen next is going to happen. Object down on the field right now. Actually, one of the streamers from the Vote Blue Jays on the WestJet flight deck has fallen onto the top of the center field wall. If you want to vote for the Blue Jays to go to the All-Star game, maybe Ernie Clement. He's one of the leading candidates at second base. Go to bluejays.com/vote to vote Blue Jays. You can do it at the ballpark this weekend. Sections 131, 205, and 535 get a Blue Jays friendship bracelet. It's friendship with a PH because they're going to Philadelphia for the All-Star game. Pitch to Okamoto, called a strike 1-1. Show Ali and I, our host, and I were looking at the second baseman right now in the voting in between innings. Ernie's got a good shot.
Yeah.
1-1. Called strike 1-2. And a reminder, you don't vote for pitchers. I would be floored if Louis Varland was not at the All-Star game. Maybe some other hurlers for the Blue Jays there too. But fan voting is just for position player starters. Pitch hit on the ground by Okamoto up the middle. Ranging left, Henderson gathers. He'll throw to first, get Okamoto, and retire the side. The Blue Jays get a run set up by Ernie Clement's triple. A sac fly from Valenzuela makes it 6-1 Blue Jays through 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The doctor is definitely back.
Doc was just an incredible worker, great teammate, probably the best pitcher the franchise has ever had.
He was a surgeon. He was the best.
Where will you be on June 8th for the Roy Halladay Replica Retro Jersey giveaway?
From sheds and garages to tiny and dream homes. Find quality materials, ready-to-order building plans, and expert advice to guide you every step of the way. Start your build today at timbermart.ca. Timbermart, Canada's building center.
Some of us have high expectations of ourselves, of where we can go, and how we can get there. It's not unreasonable. You just need the right way to make it happen and the right wheels to match. The 2026 Acura MDX, a midsize SUV that takes premium performance to the next level with power, handling, and comfort that put you in control, and 3 rows of seating so everyone will truly enjoy the ride. The 2026 Acura MDX. Visit Acura.ca to learn more.
Is your back pain back again? Sleep Country knows that when your mattress is practically an antique, it can be a real pain.
Okamoto, really 4 through 7 has been a big driver of the offense today. Maybe even 4 through 8, 2 hits for Andres Jimenez.
And let's not forget who started this ball game for the Orioles. I mean, he dominated this lineup last time he faced him just 5 days ago.
Kyle Bradish bounced after 4 innings, giving up 5 runs. Albert Suarez, the reliever, with a 1-2. Way high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. For whatever reason, a lot of their best offensive games this year have come against the best pitchers. I think there's a couple different ways you could look at it, but it seems to keep happening. Enough that John Schneider has acknowledged it as well. 2-2. Up and in, ball 3.
Yeah, you can make the argument that maybe you're a little more locked in. You're not veering from the game plan a little bit because you know you have to stay with the game plan in order to beat those number ones, number twos.
I think that's a fair point. 3-2. Hit on the ground, foul.
But at the same time, it could just be coincidence.
It could be coincidence. You know, there's also something to a lot of the best pitchers in the game throw in the zone a ton.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jays have chased a lot this year. Maybe when that's less of a factor and their bat-to-ball skills are playing up, they have better games. 3-2 again. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on an elevated heater at 95. 2 down.
Yeah, tough to tell Chris Sale, hey, be out of the zone more.
Right, nibble.
Yeah, nibble a little bit with that 99.
Bradish, though, I should give some credit to George Springer. Ran into some walks today. Springer worked him for a couple of long walks, and the Blue Jays are up 6-4. Trying to add. Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. And Brandon Valenzuela on second. The pitch, Miles Straw takes high. Ball 1. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th inning, the Orioles are set to have Leody Taveras, Tyler O'Neill, and Blaze Alexander come up. Sam Huff and Samuel Basayo on the bench. Unsure if Basayo would be available to hit today. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. Or for that matter, play defense after he hit. Louis Varland continuing to work in the left field bullpen. 1-1 from Suarez. Straw hits it on the ground. Backhanded at short by Henderson. He'll toss across to first in time. And we go to the 9th inning. Blue Jays 6, Orioles 4. Blue Jays looking to even the series. They need 3 outs to do it. Stick with us. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You got to ask yourself, want to talk about the time you lived in the greatest city on earth, or still live in it? In the city where a matinee leads to 2 a.m. tacos, your New York era can last a lifetime. With 20 years of NYC know-how, Street Easy can help you become a forever New Yorker. Visit StreetEasy.com to buy or rent in NYC. Street Easy is an assumed name of Zillow Inc., which has licenses in all 50 states.
In baseball, great teams know one thing. Smart defense wins championships. The same is true when it comes to protecting yourself. That's why more Americans are starting with Byrna Less Lethal. Byrna Less Lethal personal protection products are designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to get to safety and call for help. Byrna is proudly American and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Play smarter defense. Visit Byrna.com today. That's B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
I'd finally have time to reread my favorite fantasy book.
Dig deeper. We're imagining winning the New York lottery here.
Okay, I'd build my own reading nook right where the sun hits.
You're getting warmer.
The French sun. I'll buy a villa in Marseille. Wait, what's the French word for sun?
I don't know, Kathy. You're the reader.
Okay, I'll hire a tutor to learn the French word for sun, then the words to negotiate real estate, then I'll buy my own French library.
And to think you just wanted to reread a book. New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Take a hack at guessing which baseball player or manager said the following.
Yeah, it's a lot of credit to them. A lot of credit to CY, a lot of credit to our ownership, on having a view and bringing it.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 9th inning, we welcome you back to Rogers Center and welcome you to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Bases loaded, team ready. Timber Mart stores are family owned and committed to helping their neighborhoods swing for the fences on every project. Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Top of the 9th inning, Blue Jays up 6-4 on the Orioles. And into the game in a pitching change, Louis Varland here to try and close it out for the Blue Jays. He'll start off with switch hitter batting left, Leody Taveras. Right-hander Varland into the windup. The kick and the pitch is inside with a fastball to start his day. Ball 1. Or rather a changeup just at 93 miles an hour. 30th appearance of the year for Varland. His 1-0 pitch, foul tipped 1-1 as he revs it up to 98. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 1 earned run in 32 1/3 innings for Varland. 1-1. Little bit high, 2 balls, 1 strike. Taveras today 0 for 3. Third baseman Okamoto playing in case of a bunt. Here's the wind and the 2-1 pitch. Fouled back 2-2. It's that potentially triple-digit four-seamer. The big knuckle curve in this year, the changeup, the slider, the sinker have featured as well for Louis Varland, who won AL Reliever of the Month in March, April, and probably should have, with all due respect to Cade Smith, in May as well. 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit high to right field, but hanging up for Nathan Lucas. He'll move in and make the grab. 1 out.
Big fastball there, 100 miles an hour in on the hands of Taveras. It's a lazy fly ball out to Nathan Lucas in right field. A big first out with Samuel Basayo coming to the plate.
They hit for Tyler O'Neill in this spot, so we learn the answer of whether Basayo's available. He is, and he's into the game right now for the Orioles. 6-4 Blue Jays, top of the 9th. 1 out, base is empty in the pitch. Fouled off to the right, 0-1. Basayo, a big 21-year-old left-handed hitter, faces an 0-1 and hooks it on the ground right side. Vladdy out of his spot, backhands, throws back to the covering Varland, makes the grab, steps on the bag. 2 down here at Rogers Center as fans start to rise out of their seats.
There's the changeup. He shied away from it a little bit in recent outings, but he pulls it out there to the big Basayo. He gets him out in front for a weak ground ball. Good job from Varland covering first base.
Blue Jays 6, Orioles 4, top of the 9th. Looking to even the series with 2 outs and the bases empty. It's Varland against Blaze Alexander with the game on the line. The kick and the pitch. Lined, picked on the backhand, Clement at second. He'll spin, throw to first, and the Blue Jays win. Of course it's a great play from Ernie Clement on a great day for Clement as he leads the Blue Jays to a 6-4 win to even the series.
I mean, Ernie Clement had a fantastic ball game. He had a 3-run home run, made 2 very, very tough plays late in the ball game, and that's what this team has been missing for really the majority of this season. Great defense and timely hitting, and Ernie Clement does both of those things today in a much-needed Blue Jays victory.
We will keep it here as we await the walk-off interview alongside Sportsnet's Hazel Mesa. Stick with us right now. Blue Jays win it 6-4 on a pretty well-executed bullpen day for Toronto. They start with Fisher, go to Miles, Hoffman, Fluharty, Rogers, and then Varland. Spencer Miles really, really solid today in 4 1/3, Chris.
Yeah, Spencer Miles, who had a little bit of a rough outing in his last game against these Orioles, really dialed it in today. He pounded that strike zone, trusted that sinker in to lefties, and that's the pitch that's made him so successful. When you can throw that pitch, when you command that good sinker at about 95, 96 miles an hour in and make lefties feel uncomfortable. It opens up the outside part of the plate to the slider, to the curveball, and he executed really, really well today. Good stuff from him.
Let's go down to the field now. Ernie Clement is alongside Sportsnet's Hazel May.
Have yourself a game, Ernie Clement. A 3-run home run and a triple, and helped record the final out in the Blue Jays win. About 2.5 weeks ago, you said you were not happy with the way you were driving the ball. What's changed since then? What do you like about your level of aggressiveness?
I'm being aggressive for sure. I don't really care about driving the ball as long as it finds some green grass out there. But I'm just glad I'm making plays out there for our pitchers. I take a lot of pride in that, and my defense has not been great this year. So to make some plays for the boys today was that feels good.
I was going to ask you about that defensive gem there in the 8th inning that helped save a run. What's been better for you defensively? You admitted that there was a little bit of some miscues to start this season. What's been better for you?
Yeah, Fablace and I have been kind of grinding and
You and Carlos Fablis have been working hard on what in particular?
We're just grinding out there. I'm putting the work in every day, and he's been awesome working with me, getting used to second base, and I'll tell you what, Hemi makes that transition easy. He's fun to play with up the middle, and he's done a great job at second base in his career, so he's taught me a few things.
I mentioned your 6th home run of the season. You also hit your first triple of the year, your first extra base hit this season the other way. So what needs to go right for you to hit it that far the opposite field?
The pitcher has to throw it really hard, and I have to be really late. Usually I'm trying to pull it, so that's a funny one.
All right. Ernie Clement, this was all you tonight with the help of your teammates, of course, but it was the Ernie Clement show in this Blue Jays victory. Congrats. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go Jays.
Ernie Clement and the Blue Jays even this series at 1 game apiece.
Thank you, Hazel. And Ernie Clement, the Blue Jays do even the series of 1 game apiece with a 6-4 win today. We're going to take a quick step aside. When we come back, we will get you some of your plays of the game, wrap it up, and get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. Stick with us. Blue Jays win it 6-4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I'm Buck Martinez, and if there's one thing I know, it's Bucks. That's why I'm announcing Buck an Inch by Pizza. Get any 2-topping pizza for just $1 an inch. A 12-inch medium pizza is now $12. 14-inch large, $14. 18-inch huge double XL, $18. Get any size 2-topping pizza for just $1 an inch at Pizza. Take it from $1. It's a dinger of a deal.
Why is Kintec different? Because real comfort isn't about selling you a shoe size. It's about understanding your unique foot and how you move. That takes movement and foot health experts, not just salespeople. And sometimes it means going beyond footwear to find the right support to relieve pain so you can move with confidence. There are shoe stores, there are clinics. Then there's Kintec. Footwear and orthotics, together in step.
Kintec Footwear and Orthotics.
It was another epic night in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Seth Jarvis evens the series at a game apiece.
The Golden Knights suffered their first overtime loss, while the Hurricanes remain undefeated. Now, the scene shifts to the desert in a pivotal Game 3. Carolina is 6-0 on the road these playoffs, but Vegas is ready to defend the fortress.
You understand just what's at stake in a game like this.
Coverage begins tonight with Hockey Central at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet.
Hammering out the details on your next build? At Home Hardware, we've got Milwaukee's entire M12 and M18 lineup. With all the drills, packouts to stay organized, and everything you need to work on your dream project. But the time off work. Find everything you need for your next project and earn and redeem Scene Plus points at over 1,000 Home Hardware and Building Center locations. All locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
And the righty's pitch is lined out towards short, leaping grab Andres Jimenez.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays even the series, down in the Orioles 6-4 here on a beautiful day in downtown Toronto. Thanks for sticking with us. Blue Jays Talk is coming up soon. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The Blue Jays winners 6-4. And look, sometimes you want to pick a play of the game, but there are just too many of them. So we might do a little bit of spoiler here coming up for what you'll hear later. But today's player of the game has to undoubtedly go to the Blue Jays second baseman. It's Ernie Clement. Take a listen. 1-0 pitch, crushed out to left field, deep toward the bullpen, and gone! A 3-run rocket for Ernie Clement, and the Blue Jays blast their way in front. 4-1 they lead now in the bottom of the third. Pitch to Ernie Clement is shot deep, right field. Going back, Cowser leaps at the wall. It's off the fence. Cowser tumbling down that ball on the turf. Ernie around second. He's headed for third. He'll get there with a stand-up triple. The pitch is hit on the ground over the middle. Dive by Clement. He backhands it, throws from his knees to first. It bounces in time for the out. What a play, Ernie Clement up the middle. And there are two down. On to third goes Henderson. But that's a run-saving stop and a huge out at first in this 8th inning. The kick and the pitch. Lined, picked on the backhand, Clement at second. He'll spin, throw to first, and the Blue Jays win. Of course it's a great play from Ernie Clement on a great day for Clement as he leads the Blue Jays to a 6-4 win to even the series.
Well, I mentioned this after the ball game, but the Blue Jays have been waiting for the big hit. Yes, they've got a couple of big hits over the last week or so, but they need to come in bunches, and they started today with Ernie Clement. What a massive 3-run home run. And 2 really big plays in the field as well. We've also been waiting for Ernie Clement to start playing defense like we know that he can. He mentioned after the ball game to Hazel that him and Carlos Fablis have been grinding out there, working really, really hard at second base. But the thing that I love the most about what he said Andres Gimenez makes it easy. And I couldn't agree more. He's so smooth out there. How about having a partner up the middle like Andres Gimenez? Ernie Clement, Andres Gimenez, 2 of the best in the business, and Ernie Clement is really starting to look like it. He's made some good efforts out there, and today Hazel made a joke that it was all Ernie, but it really was.
It was a lot Ernie.
It was a lot Ernie. Maybe not all. It was a lot Ernie, and couldn't be happier for the guy. He played really well today, but got to give some flowers to Spencer Miles as well.
Sure, Spencer Miles, great day, 4 1/3 as the bulkman. Brandon Valenzuela with 3 hits and 2 doubles. Couple of hits for Andres Gimenez, who got a bit off the schneid with an RBI single. Okamoto, a pair of hits and an RBI. Even 2 pretty important walks from George Springer in the game. And the Blue Jays take it 6-4, the final score. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Orioles. 4 left on base. Blue Jays with 6 runs, 12 hits, no errors, 6 left. And Spencer Miles is today's winner. He goes to 3-1. Kyle Bradish with the loss, 3-7. 10th save of the year for Louis Varland in 10 tries. A 2-hour, 30-minute game on a beautiful 24-degree day in front of 41,868 for the American League leaders in attendance. And the Blue Jays win the game. They are 31-34. So are the Orioles, 31-34. And it all comes down to the matchup tomorrow. The Blue Jays and the Orioles return to this diamond for a rubber match coming up. It's a 1:37 first pitch Eastern between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Going to the mound for Baltimore is Shane Baz, and the Blue Jays will counter with Kevin Gausman. Hope to see you there. Appreciate you tuning in today. From our technical directors Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our producer Nick Blackmore, our host Joe Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue. Thanks again to Kevin Pillar as well. I'm Ben Schulman. We will see you tomorrow, and stick around. A winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Jesse Rubinoff starts right now.
For the Toronto Blue Jays today, 6-4 in the end, the final score in favor of the good guys. The Jays even the series with the Orioles. Both teams pull even with each other. Both teams 31-34 following today's game. It sets up a rubber match tomorrow with Kevin Gausman on the mound here at the Rogers Center. But lots to like from the Blue Jays today.
Yeah, you look at the final game of the Braves series and then this game today, taking out yesterday from the equation. That's 28 hits in those 2 games. Ooh. And when you're looking for positives and things that would really move the needle on this Blue Jay season, it's the offense starting to get going. And this game today was much more reminiscent of the Blue Jays team that we saw in 2025, where you got a lot of different contributions from many different guys up and down the lineup. Obviously, Ernie Clement played a massive role in this game. Jesus Sanchez with 2 hits, Okamoto 2 hits, Andres Gimenez with 2 hits. So it was really one of those days where you got contributions from everybody, and it resulted in a big victory for a team that's looking really to go on another run here.
That is Jesse Rubinoff. I'm Show Ali. You're listening to Blue Jays Talk here on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and on the Sportsnet app. Why don't you give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-866-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line, always open. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. I mean, in a lot of ways, there are a lot of ways we could go. Maybe better is a better way of saying this. We could talk about Spencer Miles, maybe Andres Jimenez getting off the schneid, as Ben said earlier, with a couple of hits. Okamoto had a great game. Want to talk about Brandon Valenzuela as well. I have some questions about how the team will handle him. But I do feel like it's hard not to start discussion of a game like what we got today without getting to Ernie Clement. I mean, Ernie Clement was the man today. This was the Ernie Clement game, Jesse, right? I mean, 3-run bomb off Kyle Bradish, a slider right down the middle. He just blasted that thing. He had the triple as well later on. So he basically, I know it didn't happen today, but he got the two hardest parts of the cycle out of the way immediately. I was really hoping it would get done, but alas, we'll have to settle for the 3-run bomb and a triple. The gorgeous defensive play where he dives for the Pete Alonso grounder and gets it to Vladdy for the out with Tyler Rogers on the mound, who had already been brought in with a runner on. And then fittingly, he gets the ball. I mean, this is just how things tend to work, right? The ball finds you, but he gets the ball on the final play of the game, gets it to Vladdy again for the final out.
That wasn't an easy play either.
Yeah, it was. He kind of spins to get that ball and then turns again and throws it to Vladdy. I mean, he impacted the outcome of this game in every possible way, right? I mean, I have to check. I think he's still after, again, I don't think it changes that much mid-game, but leading the team in slugging percentage. We talked about this in the pregame show. On pace for a career high in home runs. We had on the radio network, we played the Hazel interview with Ernie on the field, and he even referenced the fact that early in the year he knew he had not been playing well defensively, which is somewhat uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah.
He had kind of scuffled defensively for the early part of the year, and not so much anymore, right? So kind of good to see every facet of his game coming together. I'll say this about Ernie, too, Jesse. I don't think – so I'm fond of saying that, there's like this who's the fan favorite of the team, right? And, in years past, it's Ryan Goins, perhaps, Santiago Espinal, Davis Schneider.
Kiermaier had a spell.
Yeah, Kiermaier. Like guys who I think – are obviously talented. All these guys are, but guys who I think there's like a little of scrappiness to them. And I think for a time it was Ernie. I actually don't think you can count him as that anymore, because I actually do think he is simply an outright star for this club. Like, he is closer to the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Tier of star than he is to a guy who's barely on the roster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think he's probably, if you're looking up and down the lineup for potential All-Stars, he would be the most deserving at this point, you would think. Yeah. If we talked in the pregame show about the drop-off that we had seen from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the postseason and the WBC to the regular season. Ernie, we saw obviously go on a historic run in the postseason, and he has picked up not quite where he was in the postseason, because that was absurd. He was Ted Williams. But he has raised every single meaningful statistical category from a year ago. He's raised that to a new standard in 2026. You can honestly up and down his statistical profile. The average is almost 30 points higher. OBP is 15 points higher. Slugging is over 60 points higher. His OPS, and we were talking about the OPS, now the Jays don't, or at least didn't have anyone with an 800 OPS coming into the game. Valenzuela is now 794, and Ernie is 791. So they're getting close to having an 800 OPS hitter. But, yeah, Ernie has just taken whatever he was using to catapult him to a new level in the postseason, and he has utilized it during the regular season. He was awesome today, and a huge reason why they were able to get the victory.
Your point about the All-Star thing is really interesting. The All-Star voting is now open. I think it's bluejays.com/vote, and it'll take you to the MLB website where you can vote for whoever you want. I mean, here's the other thing, too. I filled out my ballot today. I should have kept it so we could talk about it, but it disappears after you click send. But if you look at the list of players, because the MLB selects, I mean, it's just like second baseman, the list of second basemen for American League teams and National League teams. If you scroll down to the second base list of players, I mean, Travis Bazzana with the Guardians, having an all right year, but he also didn't play the whole season, right? He was only called up for a very high draft pick, I should say. I think he was #1 overall. But he only, quote unquote only, got called up, 3 weeks ago, for a guy who has played all season. If you look at the other names on this list, I struggle to think of who should be the second base starter for the American League at the All-Star game this year outside of Ernie Clement.
He's the only 300 hitter.
I actually think it's a pretty easy decision if you're making an All-Star ballot.
Yeah, Bazzana's the only one that has an OPS over 800, but you mentioned it's not the same sample size as Ernie Clement, and he's getting up there now. Like, his numbers are it's all pretty close because second
right.
base, you don't usually get the pop numbers that you would get from some of the other premium offensive positions. But when you're looking at the numbers, Ernie Clement, at least offensively, would be a deserving all-star. I think the question then becomes, has he been a little shaky defensively? That's probably not what fans are looking for in an all-star. It's more of the statistical offensive output. But I do wonder if, in our minds, at least from an analysis standpoint, has Ernie been good enough defensively to warrant being an all-star? Because certainly with the bat in his hands, I think has been the one Blue Jay that you can make a very strong case for of being a representative at the All-Star game.
At least for position players.
For position players.
Yeah.
I mean, pitchers, take your pick, really, for the guys that have been healthy enough.
Yeah, I mean, like I would be stunned. My Flabber would be gasted if Louis Varland was not an All-Star this year. That would be shocking if he's not an All-Star this year. And I tend to believe that one of Gausman or Cease will probably be an All-Star. I tend to believe it'll be Cease. If he comes back and just looks the way he's looked and he's going to be at or near the top of the American League in strikeouts, he probably goes to the All-Star game, right? And Gausman another worthy candidate. But, I mean, of all players, Ernie and Louis feel like the biggest slam dunk. I mean, maybe Okamoto, perhaps, but the hard thing is, as a starter, it's a little more difficult because, who's going to start at third base for the American League at the All-Star game? It's going to be Jose Ramirez, and it's not going to be particularly close, I'm guessing, right? So, but that doesn't discount what Okamoto has done this year. He might go as a reserve, perhaps, if people are injured, but it's going to be a fascinating. I love the All-Star stuff because I know voting in particular is a popularity contest, so. Like Ben Rice and Aaron Judge is still going to be voted an All-Star, I think deservingly, even though he's certainly not going to play in the All-Star game, as we know. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting road between now and the end of voting, certainly. Let's go to the phones, Jesse. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can give us a call. We've only mostly talked about Ernie Clement today, but we'll get to a lot of other things as well. 590, name and location. But let's go to our leadoff caller, Lorne in Simcoe. Lorne, it's been a while. What's up, man?
Hey, Show. Hey, Jesse. It has been a while. I've been at dance recitals the last couple Saturdays, so can't do Jays when you got to go to dance recitals. We all love Ernie. He's a Buffalo kid, Western New York, Ontario connection. We just love what he represents. He will be our all-star. The fans need to get behind him. Before we get on the Jeff Hoffman train, Pete Alonso has the most homers of the last 8 years. So before we all rip on Hoff, can't say enough about Spencer Miles and Patrick Corbin. They are this year's found money. I really hope we would have found some sort of found money with a positional player like we did with Lucas last year. We still need a bat desperately. And I'm going to ask the main important question. Where's my Vladdy? This is year 1 of 14. And I feel like if we had a bit more of an older veteran manager, he might rip Vladdy and kind of put that fire in him. Judge is going to be out. Junior Caminero is probably the best position player left in the AL East. Vladdy should be number 2. But I'm going to ask a question. Where's Vladdy? We need him to get back in the race. Thanks, guys.
Lauren, appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Ernie, hard to disagree with anything he said about Ernie there. Yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso. We'll get to Hoffman. I'm sure we'll get to Hoffman, certainly. I actually didn't realize Pete Alonso had the most home runs total in the last 8 years. That's actually, I mean, I knew this is the Polar Bears.
More than
monster seasons,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, there are a couple of monster seasons in there, certainly, but that's pretty impressive stuff for the old Polar Bear, all-time leading home run hitter in Mets franchise history, which is still pretty cool. Okay, on Vladdy, though, it's true. I think, look, I don't think we need to spend too much time on Vladdy today. It's a pretty big win, and we can get to the things that I think matter a teeny bit more. But, I mean, it's undoubtedly, you could probably spend a part of every post-game show talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jesse, if only because, like, if he's really good, you're going to talk about him, and if he's not that noticeable, you're going to talk about him because you want him to be noticeable, to Lauren's point, right? And again, it feels weird to get on a guy who, 292 at batting average right now. People are going to roll. I can feel people are rolling their eyes when I'm saying this, right? But 292 batting average, 764 OPS. They're not outright horrible. But I don't think I or anyone else want to settle for saying, oh, well, you know what? It's not outright horrible. Yeah. It's fine. You want to say, to Lauren's point, oh, man, that Vladdy is battering his 18th home run of the season or whatever it might be. You want to be talking about those kinds of things, right? So we talked about this in the pregame show. I mean, he's hit 3 home runs on the season. Obviously did not hit one today. It's one of those, and again, I would settle for less home runs if I could even get a couple more extra base hits, which you're also not getting a ton of so far this season, right? So it's just such a conundrum. I mean, the bat path is relatively flat, all things considered, compared to some of the other guys who hit tons of bombs. You would think if it was a simple change, he would have changed it by now. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, to be completely honest. I don't know if it's if it's a want to, can't to type of thing. If someone does need to talk to him, I'm sure people who are far wealthier than us have tried solving this issue, right? So I wonder what happens going forward. Again, I think he's still on pace to have a good season, but from a power perspective, you've gotten very little power of it so far.
Yeah, it's just totally confounding because some of the numbers still hold up. Like, he's still not swinging and missing all that much. His K percentage is beyond elite. His bat speed's elite. His expected batting average is elite, but he's just not barreling anything up. Like, if he's hitting it hard, he's hitting it into the ground. The launch angle isn't there. The barrel is not there. He's 33rd percentile in barrel rate and 20th percentile in launch angle sweet spot percentage. And I'm not a huge analytics guy, but it's confounding that someone would be he has such a great eye and such elite bat speed. Clearly, the numbers show that. But he just, for whatever reason, the bat is not listening to what his brain is telling him to do because he knows what good pitches are. He knows what he should be swinging at. But he cannot figure out a way to barrel it up to the point where he gets it out of here. It's a lot of top spin instead of the back spin that's often required to get the ball out and carrying a lot. So it's a strange season from Vladdy, and obviously they're trying to get him going, and I would imagine trying all sorts of different things. And you do wonder at what point, there's just too much going on in his head.
Maybe.
Like, who's talking to him? How many people are talking to him? Is his dad talking to him? Obviously, Popkins is talking to him, Schneider. So you wonder how many voices are in his head at this point trying to figure out how to get the power stroke back. But through it all, he's got some pretty decent numbers if you take away the power stroke. So difficult season so far for him, but probably not the thing to focus on all that much because of a big victory for the Jays today.
There's a text here on the text line, again, 590, name and location. Mark from Thorold. And Mark, appreciate your text as always. Mark saying, hey, just want to mention that next year the odds of Springer coming back are slim to none. So Valenzuela all the way as your full-time DH. Maybe he can catch 2 times a week and just let him hit. I did want to bring that idea up with you when we talk about Valenzuela.
So I was thinking that's exact thing too, even before the show.
So
I knew it.
Some very pretty swings from Brandon in this one. Nice swing off of Bradish, second inning, the double, had the single in the third inning, had the RBI sac fly off of Aiken, I believe it was, in the fifth, and then he had another double in the eighth. Just everything just jumping off his bat, essentially. And so John Schneider did talk about this in the off-camera meeting before the game today, in the sense that, let me just pull up my notes here because I just want to make sure I get this right. It was interesting what he said when he was asked about this, because he said, not ideal for me was the quote regarding 3 catchers, and then someone asked him, hey, Valenzuela might only play a few times a week when Kirk comes back, and his quote was, I think that's okay. And then he also said opportunities for Kirk to DH are there. So I guess you could kind of look at it from 2 ways, right? You could look at it as Kirk coming off of injury. I'm guessing he might be back with the team by the Yankee series this time next week. But let's say he is, right? Kirk comes back. I'm sure he'll catch a bunch because they seem to feel like the catching is where they want it to be in his rehab return from injury. It's just the hitting they want to catch up a little bit more on, which is why he's doing these rehab assignments. And, he hit the home run for Dunedin not that long ago. So we'll see how things go, I believe, starting Tuesday for Kirk, unless things change with the Bisons. But, could you do one where he's coming off injury, you catch him a teensy bit less, but still play him most days because he's also DHing? Or, to your point, could the reverse be true? Could you catch Kirk as much as he can handle, and then you just play Springer a little bit less and DH Brandon Valenzuela? Like, there's probably some in between Kirk and Valenzuela, DH and catching, if you want to play Springer, who, to be fair, did play well today, I thought. But, if you want to take the load off of a guy who's a little bit older and Springer, you could probably get away with doing that.
Yeah, I think that's the most obvious thing you could possibly imagine at this point. Like, Brandon Valenzuela is the guy that's giving you production and a violent swing and hitting with not immense power or prodigious power, but enough that he's giving you the extra base hits. It's hard contact. The power is there. that's what you would look for out of a DH spot. So if you're not getting it from George Springer and you want to give him a blow for a day or two, that's absolutely the guy that should be filling that spot, someone who is a threat at the plate. So John Schneider saying he might play a couple times a week. Like, I actually think there's an opportunity for Valenzuela, if he continues to play this well and swing this hot of a bat, to be in more than just a couple times a week, because you have the instance of what you just mentioned. Kirky can catch, and then Valenzuela can DH some of the days and spell Springer, or Valenzuela can be the one that's catching, and Kirk can play DH. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Brandon Valenzuela, and there's just, to me, there's just no chance at this point for a team that's looking for offense
get sent down,
that Brandon Valenzuela gets sent down. Like, how could you justify that?
That would be such a rough look at this point.
It would. You can't do it. I mean, obviously they can do anything they want, and everyone will get over it if it happens. But I just think it's very difficult to justify when you're looking for offense in the way the Blue Jays are looking for it now.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have been too bothered by it if we were having this conversation
a week ago,
maybe even a month ago. Honestly, but you're right. I mean, like, Valenzuela has been good for long enough that it's. I feel like I've been on this train of thought for a while now, in the sense that he should not go down under any circumstances. But I understand it from both perspectives, right? I understand the asset management side of this, which I don't have to think about, and fans don't have to think about, but Ross Atkins has to think about this,
Definitely.
right? So I get this, and the team has weathered so many injuries so far this season that I would understand the organization being reticent to say, well, do we want to lose Tyler Heineman for nothing, right? Because they clearly like him. They've brought him back into the organization several different times, essentially. So I understand that line of thinking. But at some point, to your point about where they are at as a ball club, 31-34, you will desperately need to win as many games as humanly possible. Because, again, like, Aaron Judge out, Yankees still sit a decent chunk ahead of you in the standings. You have a chance to make that ground up when they come to town next week. But they're still ahead of you in the standings. The Rays are still ahead of you in the standings. I think the Mariners are maybe 1 or 2 games above 500, maybe 3 games above 500. I think they won today. So Mariners above 500, and the Guardians well above 500 as well. But everyone else in the AL is mid, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then somebody in this quagmire of AL teams are going to figure it out. Like,
Go season.
The odds of everyone outside of 4 teams being at or below 500 for the entire season are so astronomically low that you want the Blue Jays to be that team to figure it out. And I think the easiest way to have them figure it out is to have the guys who slug and hit and are making good decisions, like the guys who are doing it all, essentially. And right now, Brandon Valenzuela is one of those guys.
Yeah, the only other thing that I can think of beyond the asset management argument is, and we've talked about this before, is who the pitchers feel most comfortable with when Kirk gets those days off from catching. If it is, in fact, Tyler Heineman, that again, is another wrinkle that you have to think about. Brandon Valenzuela, I'm sure, has been learning on the job, and you mentioned in the pregame show there's a leadership element that maybe the Blue Jays didn't know they were getting out of a young guy like that. But if, in fact, the pitchers, particularly the starting pitchers, prefer Tyler Heineman behind the plate than Brandon Valenzuela, I think that is something that you have to take into account and weigh versus the offensive contributions that you've been getting from Valenzuela, because he's been so good. And it's not like he was an unknown commodity either. Like, people knew that this was a guy who had a bat that was most likely major league ready and ready to contribute right away, and that's what you've seen. So it's not like this should come as a surprise. At some point, you're going to have to allow guys that deserve the opportunity to keep swinging a hot bat.
Mike in Sudbury, we'll go back to the phones in a sec here. Mike in Sudbury on the text line. Hey, guys, great game by the boys. This may not be a popular viewpoint, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Valenzuela looking unbelievable right now. Do you think it would make sense to put him on the trade block if it meant bringing in one of those big bats or another high-end reliever? What are your thoughts? I mean, look, if it meant that Valenzuela's departure could mean that the Jays land, I don't know, like a Yordan Alvarez, you probably do that, right? But because the chances that any player prospect-wise turns into eventually Yordan Alvarez or like a Tarek Skubal or something, the chances of literally any prospect becoming 75% of what those guys have been for most of their career are again so incredibly low that if you can get one of those players, I think you do it in most cases, probably, right? Probably. But at the same time, because the asking price for those guys are probably so ridiculously high, it seems unlikely that it would happen. So if that's the case, am I trading Brandon Valenzuela for anything less than that at this point, like probably not.
No, like it's not a situation where it's a 1-for-1 deal.
No,
For
we're
someone
probably
that
a
would
lot
help
more.
because
Yes,
he helps you right now.
Yes, for sure.
I can't imagine they would be able to steal more value than they'd be getting from Valenzuela at this current juncture. So he would have to be part of a package, and then it becomes this like nebulous. Any possible potential deal. Like, you have no idea what you're even looking for at that point, and what caliber of player would be coming back the other way. Who else you have to include? So unless there's some kind of rumor that you want to go off of, it's kind of an impossible conversation to speculate.
I will say I do like my fake trades, but I think
that's
unless
a tricky one.
The prospect part of it does make it hard. Again, like I like the big major league players beyond prospects, but Valenzuela is more than that at this point.
Alvarez, yes,
a lot of years of control.
Include a lot of people in.
For sure,
Alvarez,
right? I mean, I think like Blair said, you move heaven and earth to get an Alvarez. Yeah, you do. I think, right?
No doubt.
But it's probably not happening. And if it's anything less than that, I don't think you're doing it for very few players.
Agreed.
Essentially, right?
Agreed.
416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go back to the phones. Eddie in Fort Erie joining us here on Blue Jays Talk. Eddie, what's up?
Not much, Show and Jesse. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. I saw your name on the caller thing. I thought maybe you want to talk about A.J. Brown.
Oh, yes. I was going to say that first. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's exciting, right? How could he not be?
I know. I can't wait to see Drake May throwing those deep passes to him this year, man. It's going to be fun. Now, I have a couple of comments. First of all, I heard you guys talking about Ernie Clement being, in the All-Star game. I think he should start the All-Star game because not always, but sometimes when I watch MLB Network's top 10 for their positions, you don't really see a deep countdown for the second baseman because it's not a very strong position. And when I think about who's playing second base, right now, I mean, like in the American League, I think Ernie should get that start, should get that fan vote into start by default because, like I said, there's really nobody there that's going to catch up to him right now. So I hope he does get that starters vote from the fans. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today was I was kind of surprised that Simeon Woods Richardson didn't pitch today because I know he has an ERA near 8, and I know that he hasn't been doing good. But you know what? He's got the freshest arm out of everybody in the pitching staff right now in an overused bullpen. And Spencer Miles, he's a Rule 5 guy. And he's also, coming off the surgery, right? And they keep saying they want to keep monitoring him, right? So I thought maybe Woods Richardson would have followed Fisher. He would have given them maybe 3-4 innings and then save all those guys from coming in, right? And then what if Cease comes back on Tuesday and then they send Woods Richardson down? It's like to me, why is he even there? Why is he even there to begin with? So I don't know. That's just my view on it.
Sure, Eddie, appreciate the call. Thanks for joining us. I think we had simply heard as to why it was Miles for the bulk role today. I do think they have simply really liked what they've seen from Spencer Miles over the course of the season. I think they did want to give him a big bounce back after he got the outright start the other day and got shelled in Baltimore. And again, I mean, today, Schneider said this in the pregame chat as well, that, maybe a starting role versus a bulk role, just how you mentally look at it, mentally prepare, get ready for these kinds of things, it is different, right? So maybe they just wanted to go back to what had been successful for Miles after that tough outing in Baltimore the last time up, right? I mean, it's interesting, right? Especially early in the game, the velo looked a little up versus where it was in Baltimore. He looked a little more confident, bounced back from the early home run, given up very early in this ball game. And now Chris LaRue, who former reliever himself, mentioned this during the broadcast, but simply the idea of sleep patterns, how you prepare, all these things are different for a guy who's going in a bulk outing versus a starting role outright. And also maybe he just didn't have it that day. That was also possible. But I think all of that is why it was Spencer Miles today and not Simeon Woods Richardson. I mean, we also had heard, too, that Cease and Scherzer, based on how the next turns for them based on how their recovery goes, their next turn could come with the Blue Jays at the major league level. And if that's the case, I mean, if you're trying to keep Spencer Miles, and I'm using air quotes here, but like on turn, at least for now, then, could Spencer Miles be a part of the solution in a bullpen day going forward while you have Simeon Woods? I'm just spitballing here, right? While you have a Simeon Woods Richardson ready for long relief if Scherzer falters, for example, because we'd have to see who is first on and off the roster once everyone returns. And once everyone is back, I'm guessing Wood Richardson is gone, right? But it will be really interesting to see how they use his role because Eddie's right, he hasn't pitched at all essentially as a Blue Jay.
Yeah, I think the caller's point is a good one. Like if Woods Richardson's going to occupy a roster spot and be here, then at some point he's going to be pitching. But today is not that day because Spencer Miles, if you remove the start against Baltimore, he had a 2.16 ERA and 102 WHIP on the season, and that's not a guy that you're going to have one bad outing and not give him another opportunity to right the ship. And that's exactly what they did today, and it worked wonders again. So I do think, given that the starting rotation is not quite yet all fully healthy, like you're going to need everybody here, and I think it's whether it's tomorrow or in a long relief role if things go awry or something of that ilk. I would imagine that's where Simeon Woods Richardson, at least for the next week, probably slots in.
Yeah, the three names I think we're going to have to monitor quite religiously will be Yariel Rodriguez, Connor Siebold, and then Woods Richardson, essentially, right? Because, we'll have to see what the return of, I think Joe Mantiply is a little further away, but when Nance returns, one of those guys has got to go. Obviously, when Bieber returns as well, but Scherzer and Cease, like all of these guys are a part of this equation when it comes to the pitchers. And then you don't want to have too short a bullpen because you can't have too many starters at the same time. Obviously, when they're all returning, Miles will almost certainly be just shoved to the bullpen because he's a Rule 5 guy as well. You can't send him down, otherwise you have to re-offer him to the Giants. And gosh, the way he's been pitched, if you're the Giants, you would absolutely take him back if the Blue Jays dare do that. So I'm going to guess Spencer Miles is going to stay active virtually all season unless he gets injured or something. But, yeah, I mean, Yariel, I think, unfortunately for him, I think Yariel might be the first to go. If a guy comes back in the next week, I think Yariel might be the first to go just because
he's stacking rough outings.
Yeah, he hasn't pitched well. Yeah. He probably would clear waivers because he's getting paid a lot of money, right? So that seems like the immediate there. But Simeon Woods Richardson's probably the next guy when another thing has to be decided in like another couple days after that, perhaps.
Yeah, I think these are obviously very important decisions considering how much they've used their bullpen in the last little while. But I do think it's a little bit of a luxury that they've been able to put these guys together, and look how it's working out for them. It seems like every time they have a bullpen day where they utilize 5-6 pitchers in a game, it ends up working, and tonight was another one. So I do think they're doing a pretty effective job of managing the bullpen, and I don't see why that would change in the not-too-distant future. You do have a pretty decent idea of who's going to be the one that's going to stick around. Like, that Miles is going to be here for the next little while. There are some other question marks, but you don't feel any worse about the bullpen if Yariel Rodriguez goes down or something like that, because you can pretty obviously identify the guys that you would be okay with making a roster move with. So I do think they're in a pretty good spot with the bullpen, and they've been really, really good for the most part. Obviously, Jeff Hoffman, a bit of an exception lately, but it's a good problem to have where we're having these kinds of conversations of who actually has been good enough to stake their claim to staying in the bullpen.
All right, so you want to get to the Hoffman stuff?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Sighing and then saying "I guess so." I think is my exact reaction. No joke, right? When he gave up the home run to Alonso, I thought to myself, boy, there's like 10 to 15 minutes on Chase Stock right there.
That was demolished.
Oh, my God. Alonso hit that ball to the moon. Yeah. He absolutely annihilated that ball. When he came into, I also thought, I'm not sure, do you want to bring in Hoffman even with a 5-run lead with runners on? It just feels like the softest landing spot.
I mean, if he can't do that, then he shouldn't be here.
No, and again, this is true, right? Even with runners on, even if it's Pete Alonso standing at the dish, who to Lauren's point has hit more home runs than anyone else in the last 8 years, if you have a 5-run lead, you should be able to acquit yourself. And he got out of it afterwards, right? He gives up the home run, and one of those, the inherited runner was Miles's runner. But, this is kind of what people had been clamoring for, right? We had gotten some texts and calls in the not too recent past that, it should have, the first pitcher out of the bullpen, should be Jeff Hoffman. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I guess that's not exactly what happened today because it was a bullpen day today. But, if you consider Spencer Miles the starter, quote unquote, then that's kind of what happened today, right? And then he gives it the home run. I wish I could inject John Schneider with truth serum to get his unvarnished thoughts as to what he was thinking in that exact moment the ball left Alonso's bat. But yeah, it's such a bizarre conversation to have, right, with Hoffman, because his raw strikeout stuff is disgusting. It's gross. The BABIP is wildly inflated, which I think suggests that at least a good chunk of what's gone on is bad luck. Now, what happened today is absolutely not bad luck. He let that ball get hit to Mars.
2 mistakes in a row, and he got hurt on the second one.
Like that, there's no other way to look at it other than that was a bad pitch. But basically every mistake he makes has resulted in some monster damage for the other team, essentially. It's just so incredibly bizarre in terms of how a guy who has the raw stuff that this guy does produces these kinds of results with such regularity.
I just thought about this. It is the pitcher equivalent of Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s season.
Okay.
Because just as I went through the analytical profile of Vladdy earlier, it suggested that things are better analytically than they obviously have been in real life with the power stroke. Listen to some of these numbers for Jeff Hoffman, okay? Jeff Hoffman's chase percentage, 99th percentile. Whiff percentage, 99th percentile. K percentage, 99th percentile. Hard hit percentage, 93rd percentile. And without looking at anything else, any of the other numbers, would you tell me that that's a pitcher that has a 6+ ERA or a guy who is borderline elite? Probably the latter. Yeah. And then you look at some of the other numbers, and things start to go south. He gets barreled up. He's 70th percentile. He's walking a bunch of guys, which is obviously not good. But the strikeouts and the whiffs and the chase, it's evident that the stuff is there. And they have access to this data as well, obviously, in the Blue Jays clubhouse. And this is why he's still pitching for the team. Like, this is it right here. He's pitching for the team because they are like, if we can just unlock that for 99% or 100% of his outing, then he's going to be beyond elite. But for whatever reason, it's the 1, 2, 3 bad pitches and bad mistakes that he makes, and they come back to bite him really, really badly. So I'm not going to sit here and say that you should feel comfortable with Jeff Hoffman coming into a game because he's got good strikeout stuff and good swing and miss stuff. It's not working. And whether it's mental or physical, whatever it is, they have to figure it out. But the only way you're going to figure it out is if he comes into situations like he did today. And if that's not working, then at some point here, you're going to have to make a tough call. I don't think they're there yet because the numbers don't suggest they should be. But, man, it's getting tough to watch that every single time he comes out, he gives up a big hit.
Before we take a break, our producer Nick Blackmore has procured a clip for us on Jeff Hoffman. John Schneider talking about Jeff Hoffman because you know what? After he gave up that home run, there were boos. This game, they were still up 6-3 at that point. People were booing as Pete Alonso was rounding the bases. So John Schneider asked about what's gone on for Hoffman and about the boos. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, for one, I mean, this is up there with one of the weirdest years for a pitcher that, not me, but, Pete, who's been doing this for a long time, has seen, to where balls that are being put in play, it seems like nothing good happens. It's either damage, it's a hit. His strikeout rate is really high. So it's weird. It's definitely weird. And I think that as far as the boos, I mean, I love our fans, and, I get it when they want people to be great. I'd rather them boo me than boo Jeff Hoffman, who has given up runs 2 out of his last 9 outings. You know what I mean? So baseball happens. Pete Alonso, I don't know how many career home runs he has. It's a lot, you know what I mean? And it comes down to just executing pitches. So the boos, I get it, sure. People hear it. People are human. But I like to think that I know that Jeff is one of the best teammates, one of the best dudes we have in that clubhouse. And I think what matters to him is how the people around him feel. And that part's never going to change for me or from the guys in the clubhouse. So it's a weird year for sure when you have that many strikeouts and you look up and you're giving up that many runs. So you just try to find a soft landing spot for him. We're going to continue to do that, and we want him to continue to execute and just keep plugging along.
So, what he said at the very end, I thought was really interesting. Continue to find a soft landing spot for him. Because right, you said this earlier, Jesse, I've said this before with Nick Ashbourne. I mean, if you can't come in as a major league reliever with like a 4-run lead, in this case it was a 5-run lead, and get it done, I mean,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah, like what's your role, right? And he got out of it in the end, so good. That's a positive, no question. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy him because
what lead is big enough?
Yeah, right. Well, because here's the thing: the team. The bullpen is so overworked. Even before today, Braden Fisher and Mason Fluharty had some of the most appearances by a reliever in all of baseball, and they both pitched today, essentially. So, and then Varland also pitched today, and Rogers also pitched today. Like, you used every high-leverage reliever you've got today in a bullpen day. And again, it's important because you need to pick up these wins. You're now even with the Orioles again, who, you've kind of had an up-and-down year with them in the last 10 days alone. So, yeah, look, you need these things to happen, but You also, like, the reality is you kind of need Jeff Hoffman to pitch for you because I don't know who else is pitching. I don't know who else is throwing those pitches in his absence, essentially. So
he's got the second best stuff in the bullpen, which is crazy to think.
They're going to continue to try and harness him. I mean, maybe the simple idea is that you put him. They've already done this, but it's that you keep him in the role that he was in. Funnily enough, when he was with the Phillies, we're coming to town on Monday. But when he was with the Phillies, and he was elite setup man. Yeah. And again, I like the idea of having Varland being deployed to be the fireman if the highest leverage guys are being used are coming up in the order, I should say, before the 9th inning, like in the 8th inning, like happened.
Yeah, he was up tonight.
Yeah, he was up early, and then they went to Rogers, and then they went to Varland instead, and that ended up working out. Rogers did get that pretty defensive play from Ernie. Otherwise, our run probably scores there, if not for Ernie on the diving play in the 8th inning. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they use him going forward.
I really like that answer from John Schneider. I just like the idea of having Jeff Hoffman's back because it's a similar situation with Vladdy. Like, it's not like they're not trying. Like, Jeff Hoffman's not coming out here trying to throw meatball sliders over the plate and get hammered by Pete Alonso. Like, the guy's trying. The guy's trying to find a way to make it work. And if he's going to be here, then you got to have his back.
Yeah.
Because the fans are obviously not happy, and rightfully so, to the fans' credit. And Schneider said this, like, obviously when a guy's struggling to the degree that Jeff Hoffman's struggling, you're well within your rights to boo a player that's been struggling to this degree. But I also think if he's going to be here, then it is the manager's job to support your players. And he did an excellent job, in my opinion, of doing that in that answer. It's just he's getting to a tricky territory where, like you said, if a 4 or 5 run lead isn't totally safe, like even if they're down 4-2 in a game in, say, the 6th inning, like, I'm not sure that that's a comfortable spot to bring Jeff Hoffman in either, because if he allows 2-3 runs, that game gets away.